Hailing frequencies are open. Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's one-shot adventure of Star Trek Adventures. I'm here with the Streampunks tonight. You might notice a familiar face, me. Anyway, welcome. Eliza is off running Dungeons and Dragons in a place called Uck, which I guess is I guess is another place that's not here. Apparently, Uck is across an ocean, and it's far away, I guess. I don't know. But she's not here tonight, so I'm going to be taking the... I thought so, too. But then everyone kept telling me that was a character in Doctor Who. And I'm like, I can't keep track of this anymore. So sci-fi nerds everywhere, I swear. But anyway, Noir is like, you know what? I'm done with all of you. Yeah, so tonight we're going to be running a one-shot adventure, taking a break from the main Clear Skies campaign, and it'll be fun. Also, thank you, Xander, for just being like, having an hour's notice and being like, yeah I can come play. Thank you so much. I feel bad for everybody else whose phone I blew up. Thankfully, the very last person I decided to ask, no, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
Oh, well, you know what? Whatever. I'll take it.
No. I just, you know me, I'm timid. I don't aim high. I'm like, I don't know if I can ask Xander. It's Xander.
No,
so,
easy pickings.
It's good. There's an air of familiarity here. And this will actually, it's also very nostalgic for me in many ways, because the same sentimental feelings that Kaitlin had when first joining Clear Skies, I am now having for running Star Trek for Kaitlin. This will be the first time that I've been able to run Star Trek adventures for her. Yeah.
I've been scrambling all day. I didn't even have time to think about it.
It just occurred to me because when I was flipping through some of my game notes, I was looking at, I have all of the Shield of Tomorrow and Clear Skies fan art over the years. I kept all of it. And I have so much. I have that horribly evil video that we made for all the fans where we cut together all the fan artwork, and Leland Cox's music made us sob like crazy. And thank you for that, Leland, out there. But I was watching that today and I was like, oh my God, I'm running a game for Kaitlin tonight. So, all right. Well, all of that out of the way, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Let's go ahead and jump into the announcements. I really don't have any off the top of the bat for this evening. Does anybody have anything they'd like to announce or stuff that they're doing coming up? Anything of that nature? Yeah, go ahead, Xander. I can see it. What do you got?
I mean, if there's a platform for it.
Yeah.
So on my stream, I've been developing an original TTRPG system and world on Thursdays. And then upcoming Jasmine from that Bronze Girl, she's taking a break on her channel to do some Daisy Quest work. So we're running a 3-shot of my system, Fauna, and this will be Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. on that Bronze Girls channel. I'm very excited to run it. I did some playtesting over the weekend just to see if the engine works, and it does. So we'll see how it goes, but very excited for it.
Awesome. And you've got your show came back recently, didn't it? On Fridays?
Yep, exactly. I have Failed Save, which is our D&D sort of comedy. Yeah, yeah. Kaitlin helps on it too over at the Pixel Circus. We're back in studio live, 7 p.m. Pacific times, or 6 p.m. on Fridays.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Noir, you looked like you had something you wanted to announce. Did you have anything?
Yes. So we've got a new episode of Dungeons and Dragons coming out this week. We've got all the wonderful Linda Codega.
That's a get.
We talk about all sorts of stuff this episode, but mainly it's about fan fiction. And also this Saturday morning for Morning Ritual, me and my partner, we are interviewing Linda Codega. So we get a double dose of Linda this week, so please check that.
All right. Anybody else have any other announcements? Yeah, Kaitlin.
I produce and edit a show called Thin Places Radio. It's a 10-minute or less sort of paranormal call-in show from all the liminal spaces in the world, kind of a thing. It's we just put out an episode last week. We usually put up an episode every week, depending on just general wellness, but you should check it out. Thin Places Radio. It's available on all podcast platforms, and then we are at Thin Places Radio on most social media. So, and I think it's an announcement for an announcement. I guess I can't announce it yet, but keep an eye on my socials this week. Maybe, perhaps there's a thing that I can't announce yet, but will very soon. So,
alrighty. Does anybody else have any announcements? Oh, Sam. Yes, please.
Yeah, if it's okay, I just maybe just the little announcement. No, but for real though, I hate to clash with Xander's schedule because Xander's amazing, but VODs exist. And anyway, once a month, I boot the lovely demi-plane cast of Children of Erte off of their show, and I take over their time slot for an after show called On the Erte because they let me name it.
I was going to ask.
Never a more obvious sign.
Yeah.
So it's a really good time, and also the most recent episodes have all been underwater exploration. They've been scuba diving. So anyone who knows anything about my interests knows that I have been utterly enraptured, and I'm very, very excited to ask them tons of questions about everything about it. And I promise, unlike my video game streams, I will not critique their swim technique at all because it's not a video game. I can't see the animation. It's perfectly fine. Anyways. So that's tomorrow night, Tuesday, 6 p.m. On Demi-Plane RPG's Twitch channel. Please do check it out. We want them to like me. But tonight, I do not conflict with Xander's schedule. Tonight, I cooperate with it. I collaborate with it. We have an excellent adventure, and I'm very, 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 very excited.
All right. Well, now that we've had the tradition done and we're ready to start, let's jump into tonight's episode of Star Trek Adventures. There's no intro, but I love that joke too much, so I had to do it again. Yeah, the intro tonight will be expressive dance performed by Xander Jeanneret. That is our intro right there, what you're seeing in that. Okay, so let's go ahead and begin. This will be a fun little adventure. I'm going to go ahead and start things off. Captain's log. Stardate 60061.2. USS Chawla, Captain Tazem Vor in command. The Chawla has begun its second week here in the Shackleton Expanse, and the excitement from the crew hasn't slowed or dimmed. There have been 2 previous expeditions since Starbase 364 went online, and those discoveries by the USS Sally Ride and the USS Ross have certainly set expectations high for us. Unlike those missions, however, the Chawla is uniquely equipped for deep space exploration and was modified for this 3-year mission in mind. Every captain loves their ship and rightfully believes they have the best of what Starfleet has to offer. But even objectively, and with even only a full year of commanding the Chawla, I'm amazed at the achievement of the Vesta-class starship. And the crew. They were all chosen specifically for this mission. People from across the Federation, undaunted by how far we are from home, and excited to plunge ever further into this unknown slice of our galaxy. Even if Starfleet had a fleet of Vesta-class starships built for this very task, with the help of deep space telescopes and long-range probes, it would take Starfleet an estimated 4,800 years to explore this part of space. We sometimes forget that even with our extraordinary technology, from our new quantum slipstream burst drives to deep space sensors, we are still only just beginning to truly grasp how much there is to be seen and how much there is to learn. And that is why today I'll be using our time to fan the flame of exploration in an already eager crew. After a challenging few days surveying the outer and inner asteroid belt, the Chawla is now in orbit around Ventus 1, a rare M-class planet in a previously unexplored, uncharted system. Initial scans show some anomalous energy readings, but nothing to cause concern. Normally, the command staff would have first dibs on such a mission, but in these rare moments of quiet, I believe in taking the opportunity to let our junior officers show us what they've got. I look forward to hearing their report. And with that, our episode opens with the musical chiming and the blue curtains of energy forming as the transporter beams down our away team. Materializing on the surface of this brand new world, never before explored by Starfleet. The first thing you all experience And we're expecting, thanks to the scans, is the crisp, cool air of 11.6 degrees Celsius and a puff of your own breath coming out as you beam into an area that, for many of us who are familiar with Earth, might describe it as something close to a pristine, untouched Colorado-esque mountain range with large trees, great towering rock surfaces reaching up to the sky covered in blankets of snow, an odd purplish coloration to the sky, big, thick, puffy clouds, but a planet that looks absolutely untouched, unexplored. Initial scans have shown all of you no known civilizations on this planet, but plenty of biodiversity all across the planet. Y'all are looking at probably logging thousands upon thousands of new species. Now, while it's true that in Starfleet's time exploring strange new worlds, the truth is that many of the species you come across are starting to become easier to categorize, as most life forms that you encounter on planets, one way or the other, have many similar functions to life forms that can be found on other planets across the galaxy. Some need to breathe, some don't. Some walk, some don't. Some fly, some don't. And so on and so forth. That being said, this is, for all of you, much like what it must have been like to have been a naturalist with an opportunity to go visit Galapagos back in the day. This is an extraordinary moment that is never given to junior officers like this. The captain is doing you all a solid on this one. Mostly because Captain Tassimvor has expressed that the Shackleton Expanse has plenty for all. Despite the previous explorations of the USS Sally Ride and the USS Ross, the Shackleton Expanse remains largely unexplored, though the discoveries by those two vessels have yielded extraordinary results, from first contact with a whole new species, witnessing the birth of the crystalline entity, to discovering the remains of an entire civilization that used space stations to sustain itself. What will the Chawla uncover? That is what is in the minds of every single crew member aboard the ship. And there is not a small amount of jealousy coursing through all of your shipmates that you get to be Away Team 1, which is your official designation as you all have beamed down. Now, as you have arrived on this planet, let's go ahead and take a moment to do some descriptions of name, rank, and who and what you are. If you would please take us through it, and we'll start with you, Kaitlin.
Hello, I am playing Lieutenant Yana Bell. She is a probably late 20s Bolian, so the classic blue. She's probably a little more like indigo, leaning like a pale blue. She's got the stripes, no hair, the cartilage down the face and into her neck. And she seems very calmly delighted to be here.
And your position in the away team?
Oh, she's a security officer.
All right. Next up, Noir.
All right, so I am playing a Klingon. He is very tall, built like a brick house. He's got salt and pepper hair that is in just a very fine, tight braid, and he's got a large beard that also comes down to a braid. Like, his mustache is so long that even that's braided down at the bottom. Just wearing your traditional black and teal, because he is the head nurse of the ship. For proper introductions, this is oh goodness, I had the whole thing written out. But if this is Dr. Nunik Walsh, he, like I said, he is the Klingon head nurse, medical officer, and a lieutenant.
All right. I'm wondering. I'm wondering. Who will it be that cracks the first mountain climbing joke here in the mountains? Who will it be? Place your bets, chat. Next up, let's go ahead and cut to Sam, if you would, please.
So the bad news is that as Lieutenant Carden beams in, it is with a bulk of equipment. Yes, their toolbox, one would expect that of an engineer, but also various other types of gear. And because it was in my head before you said it, it is necessary gear for this terrain.
Excellent.
And so Lieutenant J.G. Carden has it. It's quite a lot for them to carry because Carden is small. Carden is Sam-sized. And while the IRLs know that that is not large, let those of you in the digital space know that we really are 5 feet tall. You can believe our driver's license, and there is no need to insight check me.
All right.
So
Likewise, Carden, not intensely gifted in the departments of verticality, but nonetheless, the benzite, blue, like so much of Blue Crew, with some cartilage over the top of their, well, mostly breathing, I think. One doesn't ask, is looking over at the not yet introduced, with a little bit of glee, as if knowing that something here will bring him delight.
Quick question for you. So this is something that's not mentioned in Star Trek Adventures, but since we do blend into the Star Trek Online universe, Benzites have actually undergone. There are many Benzites who elect to take the therapy to actually not require the breathing device apparatus on their chest. Have you done that, or do you still use your breathing device on your chest?
You know, in another life, I had an admiral who, anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
I have my breathing apparatus. Y'all are lovely, but I don't trust your air.
Okay, cool. So you've still got the breather. All right, sounds good. And Xander, if you would please bring us home.
Yes, I think beaming almost behind Dr. Washed, you see another blue sciences uniform, but this one in sort of a tall, willowy body. And that fits in with the Blue Crew, but we see a Betazoid. He's got dark, large pupils and shortly cropped dark hair that is interrupted by like a long swoop of a pink mohawk. That kind of is long and flopped over in this environment and sort of frizzed out. But you can see that there is like a calm demeanor about this person. This is Ensign Malim Oba. And Ensign Oba is a Betazoid that is has a connection to the plants. He's a xenobotanist and is excited to be experiencing all these new sensations.
That brings us to our... Yes, go ahead. What's up, Sam?
I'm so sorry. May I please add, and this is mechanical, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
Yeah.
momentum to the pool?
Oh.
Because we're all very, very close. In fact, I have a close-knit crew.
Ah!
Talent,
There it is. Close-knit crew talent. One momentum has been added to the pool.
Blue Crew.
Yeah, we have 3 Bs. We have Betazoid, Benzite, and Bolian. And it's just also pointed out that the captain, Tasm 4, is actually Andorian. So this is a blue ship. And then
If
there's
we're not
Noir.
blue, then we're wearing blue. So it's
That's
all
true.
together.
Noir is going to be... Your Klingon is wearing the
Yay.
blue. Wasch is wearing blue. Yeah. All right. The other member of your away team is actually the commander of the away team. That is going to be Lieutenant Commander Jace Wallace. Getting a bit of an echo. You guys hear that? Anybody hear an echo? It's just me. Lieutenant Commander Jace Wallace, head of the away team. He's human, roughly 29 years old. Still has sort of like the fresh recruit mentality. It's very very energetic, very excited about everything he's doing. He's very open-minded. Looks like he is Commander. Mike just pointed out that the Vesta class is actually also blue, and that is true.
Blue ship.
Yes, it actually the Vesta class actually does have a blue-colored hull. It has a slight blue sheen to it. So, yeah, I know. All night. Lieutenant. Oh, there it goes. Lieutenant Commander Wallace. Lieutenant Commander Wallace is in his late 20s. He is pretty popular among the crew and is the senior-most officer here who's going to be heading the away team. He stands at about close to about 6 feet tall, has broad shoulders, very athletic young man. Also wears his hair very short, almost buzz cut, kind of slightly combed off to the side a little bit. Also has a scar just across his chin. He's a very young face, except for the fact that the scar across his chin, which he swears he got in a bar fight. He's sworn to the crew, and everybody who asks him about this tells a grand story about how he got that scar in a bar fight at Starfleet Academy during a moment when a visiting, we'll just say a Klingon dignitary visitations were taking place at Starfleet Academy as something of like a cultural exchange, and he misinterpreted, essentially backhanding a Klingon across the face is actually not a sign of just a straight up challenge. It's actually you're actually asking for a duel to the death, and he learned very quickly that he had misstudied his cultural studies, so he likes to talk about that. This is also his first major away mission here in the Shackleton Expanse. And as you all materialize here, your feet touch a stony surface, like a giant's bald head just peeking out from underneath the grass that surrounds you. It's just this smooth, rocky surface that seems to belay that underneath is this great stone that you're all standing on. Looking around you, you can see that you are well above sea level and looking down into some forest areas around you. And that crisp air hits you in the face. You don't know if it's just his adventurous spirit, if it's really overtaken him, or if Wallace feels like he's posing for some holovid picture, but you see him take one step forward, put his foot up onto the nearest rock like Riker, and just look out over the place and just take a deep breath and go, and clicks on his communicator and says, "Away Team 1, we've arrived safely, and we'll keep in touch." And you hear the communications reply immediately from the Chawla, just saying, "Copy that, Away Team 1. Feel free to keep in touch. Feel free to not communicate as often as you have hinted that you might, Lieutenant." Understood. Away Team 1 out. You see him look a little crestfallen, and he goes, "Commander, Lieutenant, Commander." Well, he turns to everybody and says, "We have 2 hours to do a basic survey. Where do y'all think we should start?"
There are a lot of fascinating reactions that are happening here, Commander. I mean, the sky is purple. It's amazing. And I'll start, Ensign Oba will take out his tricorder and just start scanning away.
Okay, in which case, if you could please roll me a reason science.
Yeah.
It's been a hot minute, huh, Xander?
I know, right? So I also have technical expertise, which will grant
Excellent.
me a reroll for using a scanner.
Okay. Difficulty is 2, but you're using a tricorder, so reduce the difficulty by 1.
Okay. I'm sorry, what was it? One more time? Control?
It's reason science. Oh, actually, this would be control science.
Okay.
That's correct. Yep. This would be control science.
Okay. 2
successes.
2 successes.
That's 1 momentum. Bank another momentum, everybody, if you would
I
please.
missed what the difficulty was, so that was a shot in the dark.
It was 1, so well done.
Great.
You guys can already hear the soothing sounds of the scientists what is your character is Ensign
Mal-Oba.
Mal-Oba. Okay, that's funny because I must have been I must have been somewhere else in my head because I wrote Mala.
Well, first name Malum, but yeah, like
Malum. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay, Malum Oba. Okay,
Oba.
Gotcha.
So
So
that's two of my characters. I've played a Bina Oba, who is an empath, and a Mal Adana in our Star Trek. So
what
that's-
does this mean?
You know, it's the Betazoid.
So
Because
you,
Mala Ren was the Betazoid too, right?
yes, she was.
Yeah.
Yes, Mala Ren was a Betazoid. So, Oba, you begin to sweep your tricorder out in front of you. The readings start coming back immediately as you start seeing a wealth of data starting to get displayed on the tricorder screen. Whoa. Already, your tricorder is picking up, flagging unidentified species. Many of them are variations of botanical life that has been immediately connected or categorized or similar to other botanical life that has been surveyed before on other worlds. But as always, you're going to come across genetic differences on every new world that you scan. As the data is coming in, what is everybody else doing?
I could pass it to Dr. Wash and definitely say, take a look at some of these readings.
I think Walst has been low key running scans on everybody, just kind of like, this is necessary.
In which case, no joke, I'm going to ask you for a control medicine check, please.
Let's do it.
Again, the difficulty would actually, for this, the difficulty would probably be 0. I would set the difficulty at 1, but you're using a tricorder
Yeah.
to sort of like scan everybody and see, so that'll reduce the difficulty by 1.
So, can I get what the roll was one more time?
It's going to be control science. So roll 2d20. You want to roll underneath? Yeah, those two.
Rolling underneath 13 is the magic number. On one die, I rolled a 1. On the other, I rolled an 11, so we should be good.
So gain 3 momentum.
So we're at 5, I think.
Yep, you are at 5.
I think in response to being handed something, Walsh is just gonna have their hand up and go, in a moment, I need to make sure that I get my readings correct so that I might have something to compare to in the case of one of you gets gravely wounded. I'm here to make sure none of you die.
Of course, Doctor.
All right. A little bit of Wallace, who's portraying just sort of like an air of confidence, nods respectfully, but you can see just a briefest of jaw clench, almost hinting that there's a kind of a, it's almost like a fidget, like an anxious, like, yeah, no, all of you, we'll just say that all of you are familiar with Wallace as a colleague, as a superior officer, but also as a friend. You all would know that Wallace is very much under an enormous amount of pressure, being that this is the first away team he's commanded here in the Shackleton Expanse. He's been doing a very good job of keeping that demeanor so that the team doesn't feel anxious around him. But you all know him. And even though he's holding up well, you know that the pressure he's putting on himself right now is already intense. The mention of a possible injury seems to have let's just say our scientist, Oba, you can immediately feel this emotion of determination as well as, I wouldn't call it anxiety, but more of just like that, the alertness of someone looking for predators kind of deal. Like somebody who's just very, very aware of their surroundings.
We got your back, Commander. You don't have to worry so much. You're giving me a headache.
Thank you, Ensign. I'll try to remember that. And then after the formality, he smirks a little bit and clasps his hand on your shoulder and just nods without looking at you, like he actually does appreciate what you've said.
And I do mean it. Bye-bye.
I mean it too. Thank you.
I can't help but feel that I might be slightly responsible for your anxiousness. I am certain that no one will die.
Is this a bad time to say that I'm climbing on something?
Yeah, that would be like a wide shot behind the away team having this conversation. This is exactly like what happened with me and Sam at D&D in a Castle. I turned my back on them for like 5 seconds.
Look, if they wanted me not to climb it, then the sign would have still been attached properly.
That's true.
Likewise, I made a small, and we are what we are, and thereby attracted to the high ground. We just want to see what's up there. I have a lot of stuff on me, but whatever
Yana is
nearby
posted up-
rock.
Yana's posted up below you with like looking down at her tricorder and just kind of has a hand behind, like hovering, not touching, but hovering and like looking down at her thing. Just,
like a parent watching their child climb the jungle gym.
Just like letting them do their thing, but kind of just has a hand up just in case and is like kind of like poking around with their tricorder. Yeah.
It's easy enough, but go ahead and make me a fitness security check if you would, please,
I
Sam.
knew it, and I knew it would be a terrible
Cardin.
idea.
Yep.
I would like to take a momentum, friends.
Please do.
I need
Okay.
Yes,
that.
please do. It makes me nervous.
Good. That's a healthy reaction based on my statistics.
Yeah, I think seeing this lost is gonna go. I am in that statement. I'm not
Yeah.
certain.
Okay, come on, Sam.
2 successes is required.
Okay,
Did
so
you
the
roll
good
2
news
20s?
is the good news is I succeeded.
But you rolled a threat.
The great news is I got a complication for you. Yes, natural
love
20.
it. Unbelievable.
Natural 20.
Unbelievable. Sam DeLev.
Right away.
I'm gonna bank that threat.
All right.
You managed to pull yourself up. Probably buoyed by the confidence that your security officer is going to be there to catch you, so you've got a little bit more zest in your climb. When you get to the top, though, of this stack of stones that you get to the top, and when I say stack of stones, these rocks are about close to about 12 meters in diameter, so they're not small, and probably weighing a couple of 100 tons. As you pull yourself up on top of these things, they are firmly set in place. They look out over, again, you have a wonderful vista in front of you. Glancing out over the treetops and the mountains, you can see that in the distance, as you saw from orbit and as sensors showed you of the landscape and the topography of the place, you can see one of the great oceans of this planet off in the distance. It does have a vaguely similar Earth-like quality to it, being that Starfleet, you remember the way Earth's yellow sun looked as it sparkled across the San Francisco Bay? You're getting the same thing here, as you know that this is a yellow main sequence star system. This planet is perfect for colonization. Unless you guys find anything out here, this is an M-class planet that has no previous indigenous sentient life. It's mostly animal, and it seems to you that the biodome itself is very similar to some of the northern areas of, for example, Earth.
Bit too much red in the sky for my taste. Earth got that one right.
Fair. So, as you were gazing out, I did hear that the security officer was also running a scan. Is that
Probably.
correct?
Yeah.
So go ahead. You also are going to roll me a control science, if you would, please.
Okay. So I have exobiology.
Okay, so you'll be able to kind of, because you're basically keeping an eye out for any of the local life forms. So then, yes, that will kick in as your specialty. The difficulty will be 1, reduced down from 2 because of your tricorder.
Okay. Sorry, you said control science?
Control science, yeah. Difficulty 1.
Whew, that could have been real gnarly. But it's good, and we're fine. And I got a 12, and I needed to hit a 16, so 1 success.
Okay, 1 success is all you needed. Doing a sweep of the area, the data starts coming in on your tricorder as well. The commander keeps quiet and watches all of it. At this point, everyone, save the commander and Cardin, are looking down at their tricorders and running scans the way an away team does. As a quick reminder to everyone, I am not going to offer any information that you don't seek. So your tricorders are your telescopes. They are everything right now. You guys sweeping the landscape and scanning around all of you is giving you a snapshot of what you are looking at. So we're going to start with Oba, who...
Yeah.
What's up?
Sorry, does this count as a task to detect danger or hidden threat?
Yes, it does. Is it
So
reduced to
then-
0?
It reduced to 0, so we bank a momentum from.
Bank of momentum.
Nice.
Yep, it
We're back to
absolutely
5?
does. You're back to 5.
Would you suffer a visual perception check since I'm up here?
Not at all. Go ahead and make a roll. I would say that is going to be... Well, the roll itself is probably going to be a security check, but I will let you choose an attribute that you think would be most pertinent. Reason is probably a good one. Daring could be good as well.
I think reason is, well, reasonable.
Taking your time, scoping it out. Go ahead and make a roll.
Thank you. I'd like that momentum that our security officer, Annabelle, so kindly earned for us. I'm going to throw it away. Thank
Okay. You immediately set it on fire and discard it.
you. Okay. What was the difficulty?
Up here, it's sort of a fluctuating difficulty. So it's a little unusual not to give you a static difficulty, but I'm setting the difficulty at 0, and the number of successes you score will be, you can do momentum spins for additional information.
Okay. I have 2.
2 successes. So then that'll give you that momentum back plus 1. So y'all are maxed out.
Hey.
All right. I highly recommend anybody playing Star Trek Adventures. It's always very generous and good for the adventure to allow players to generate momentum right off the top of the game. It's super helpful. In which case, at this point, as you're looking around Cardin, you see, again, the vista of the ocean, the great oceans, far from here. The air is pristine. There is a strange glint to some of the reflective lights that you're seeing on the ocean. It's kind of creating an effect that's a little unusual. Again, I described it before as the yellow light being cast like a golden path across the surface of a distant ocean, much like seeing the San Francisco Bay from a distance. In this case, though, the light that touches the surface of the water is not reflecting back yellow light. In fact, it looks like it's refracting a little bit, which is a little unusual. That much you're able to spot. Oh, Sam is so happy. But yes, that is what you detect.
If it's going
Visual.
where I think it's going, I'm very, very happy. Were we able to do any marine scans from the ship? Like, is that
yes.
information we already have?
I can actually tell you right now. 1 second as I pull this up.
Did we see the Atlantis from the sky is what I'm asking.
Oh, you want to know if there's a city under the water kind of deal?
Why do you think I didn't know?
There have, so yeah, the Chala was not able to detect any presence of a civilization here, runes or any otherwise. But the Chala did detect anomalous energy readings that it was not able to rightly identify. Now, it is worth noting that I actually rolled up the Chala on the character sheet. And I will tell you that the Chala has high definition sensors, a high definition sensor suite. Sam, you'll be very pleased to know that the Chala also comes, and this is going to make both Rue and Saul very just envious. But the Vesta class also comes equipped with a full complement of quantum torpedoes. So. This is, again, one of the most advanced starships in all of Starfleet. So they decided not to send you out here with photons. They were like, you never know. That being said, with those high definition sensors, the Chala was not able to detect the presence of any known structures or ancient civilizations or anything like that. So you have not seen any evidence that that would be here.
Not very much on site. What did all of you find on your scanners?
Yes, so, Ensign Oda. Oba,
Yeah.
as you are looking at your tricorder, you were scanning local fauna.
Yep.
Some very unusual readings start coming back to you. And what's curious about this is despite the incredible power and efficiency of the sensors of the Chala, your tricorder, now here planetside, is actually detecting what would appear to be indications of genetic anomalies in just about all of the plant life around you. It
Interesting.
begins to flag that there are some unusual levels of mutation in some of the genetic codes of the plants around you. Now, two things. The Chawla, even from orbit, should have been able to detect that. Didn't. So it's almost the same, the same reaction, the same sort of data that's coming back to you is almost like realizing that your camera wasn't as high definition as you thought it was, and then getting a new one. Same situation where you're looking at this going like, I didn't know we could get a better reading, but now your planet side, suddenly you're getting this data back that shows that is the case. I always want to remind you that you can always spend momentum to ask questions if you choose to. As
Doctor,
I go down these. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
really think you should come and take a look at this. And I'm going to point out that what you just said to me, to Dr. Walsh as well, of we've got these genetic differences that wasn't picked up by our scans on the ship. I've never seen anything like this. Permission to take a few samples, Commander.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. When you say genetic differences, is it dangerous? Anything that we should be worried about?
I can't give an accurate answer because anything's dangerous, man, but
Okay, that's fair.
I think we're okay for now.
All right.
Plus, the transporter should filter out anything that could be, like, bioly harmful.
Right. Yeah, the biofilters should be able to take care of it.
It's better. And then he's gonna start.
Well, so I have the results of your roll too, Doctor.
Oh boy.
Yeah, because you were also rolling on your tricorder scan. I'm going to read this out loud. I got a message. This is talk sometime long after this game question. But our good friend, the ambassador, has asked if chat could use channel points and redemptions for adding threat or extra successes. You know what? It's a little last second to implement that, but yes, let's do. It's a one shot. Let's do that. Let's just see how wild this can get. So let's pause for a second, and I'll ask Ox Crew and everyone who's watching what a good threshold is here for. Let's just do this now, and if we can keep track of it. And okay, cool. The ambassador is going to set that up for us, y'all. So I'll let the ambassador determine what the threshold is. Now, keep in mind that that threat and momentum is the currency of Star Trek Adventures. It is what helps turn Star Trek Adventures from a typical TTRPG into an episodic television show style TTRPG that allows the player characters and the GM to do things that are narrative breaking, and the suddenness or the hyper competency that you see in Star Trek, stuff like that allows them to do that. Me being a complete bastard and just like spending threat and having a hostile team of Tal Shiar show up and just start shooting at them, that's all a threat spin. So
Eric.
Have fun. It's been a while since I've run STA, so I'm just like, give it to me, you guys. All right. So
I love that chat waited till it's like, yeah, Noir, we've got the results of your roll. They're like, wait, can we make it
Chat
worse?
Ox Crew was like, hey, this is unique. Could we get in on this? All right. So as we continue, let me go ahead and give you the results of your readout. As you are listening to Oba give you this feedback, Doctor, what you start seeing coming through on your tricorder is much the same surprising data that is coming back. The Chawla has some of the most advanced sensors in Starfleet, and you are getting better readings right now. New readings that the Chawla should have been able to detect that you are detecting. Most notably is there is something in the air on this planet that is not registering as a known organic substance. Also, and perhaps the most reason for concern, with no immediate point of origin, you are detecting small rads of radiation and ambience all around you right now. And it's above the standard. Now, this planet is the closest to the sun, but this is ambient radiation enough that your tricorder alerts you. That
Eric, if
Go
I
ahead.
may, can I tell you what my values are?
Yes, please do.
Infectious diseases, pattern recognition, social studies, and radiation expert.
Okay. Radiation expert. All right. So as it comes in which case in which case your specialty would trigger. So I tell you what, I will give you you can do a momentum spend for a free question for free. So it won't cost you momentum.
Awesome. I think the question that's immediately on his mind is, how long will it take a base humanoid? We'll use humans as an example. How long do they need to stay in this level of radiation for it to become a problem?
If you stay on this planet longer than 2 hours, you are all going to have to be inoculated.
Immediately, he's going to the commander. It appears that we were unable to see it when we were on the ship, but being down on the ground, I can see that the level of radiation here will kill us. If we're here longer than 2 hours.
Kill us?
Yes, it will be quite a dishonorable death. We should maintain caution.
Now, just to clarify, we can go with what you said, and just to clarify it, Noir.
Inoculation. Well,
it means you'll get sick.
Yeah, well, he's very paranoid. So
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, we're talking like level 1 styles, like, the not fun stuff that happens. But yeah. If this can kill you in 2 hours, then you are already past the point of when you need to be inoculated.
I think he'd admit it. You would survive after 2 hours, but the process would begin of suffering a most humiliating death.
All right. Good to know. Well, that's fortunate that our away time is only supposed to be for 2 hours, so we'll make sure to make a note. All right, everybody. We're only here for 2 hours. Smaller window than we were expecting, but not by much. So let's get our job done here. Look around. If anybody has any instincts of where we would like to look first, if there's any things you... Yes. Looks at you. Lieutenant...
Gordon points to the sea.
Looks off in the direction of the ocean and says, well, how many kilometers away is that? Looks like about 2 or 3 kilometers. We can
That is not so distant.
Just beyond that forest. Shouldn't be a problem. In which case, that's when the third set of data finishes compiling. On the third scan, Lieutenant Bell, you are detecting a vibrant, rich ecosystem of animal life all around you, from the microbial to the insect to the full-on humanoid size herbivore, carnivore. There is an ecosystem all throughout this area that seems to have adapted or survived. It seems to be flourishing here on this planet. You don't detect any immediate threats.
Nothing appears to be nearby, but we're definitely not alone here.
What do you mean?
There's quite a bit of life. And she'll kind of like lean her tricorder forward for you to take a look.
Oh.
Commander leans in and looks too and says, all right, I've always wanted to say this. He reaches down, he pulls out his phaser, and he says, set phasers to stun.
Yana snorts a little bit at that, and we'll follow instructions.
Turns on the phaser, activates it to stun, slides it back into the holster.
I've only used these on the holodeck.
Just don't shoot one of your away team members, and you'll be fine. Being stunned is worse than a hangover. Trust me.
Ensign Oba is going to take a sample. He sort of has a case that he's brought with him to collect organic samples, and we'll use it as sort of, it's like a hypo spray sort of thing, but it's a cylindrical case that captures one of these plants. Being able to analyze it more closely, I'd also like to use, in a similar fashion as Noir did, I have focuses both in xenobotany and genetics. I wanted to see if I could spend to ask a question. Does it seem like these are like naturally occurring mutations that have occurred through like evolution?
That is a great question. If you want to spend a point of momentum, which by the way, Kaitlin, you've now been given an extra momentum. It looks like.
Hey,
Yeah, looks like Caitlin's got an extra momentum that they can spend, but this is all going to just to keep things like organized. We're just going to say any momentum that the Aux crew buys for the game just goes to the pool.
Cool. Yeah.
Cool. And
sense.
yeah, because
Thank you,
otherwise,
whoever said
yeah,
they wanted me to have one.
yeah. Somebody's like, give this to Kaitlin. I don't want anybody else to have it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so then success means momentum. So I'm just going to translate that over. So then, in which case, the momentum pool maxes out at 6. You guys are at 6, which means the momentum that chat has given you all need to be spent immediately, or they go away after the scene.
For instance, on obtain information as to whether the genetic
Correct.
mutations are the result of the radiation or some other source.
Okay. So then with those, so your first question is what? You've got 2 momentum floating that you can burn here without affecting your max pool. What would you like to ask for specifically?
Are the genetic mutations a result of a natural occurrence through like an evolutionary process?
The energy readings that you are picking up would indicate no.
Is the result of this mutation because of the radiation that is present on the planet?
As the data comes in, your instincts as a scientist tell you that it's not maybe not a result, but certainly linked to.
Got it. I think we're going into the pool then. Does it seem to be an adaptation to the planet's weather patterns that we've observed?
Remind me real quick. Does it double the cost for information spent? Let me look. I don't remember. It may just be an extra point spent
Per
That
question.
said, isn't Malam a science officer? There's a science.
Oh, that's
challenge
true.
with
Yes.
Obtain information.
That's true. You get one for free, don't you?
Correct.
Okay, so then this would, it wouldn't matter then. This would be number 2 for you then, because the first one was free, the second one you purchased. All right, so this one is 2 points. So then minus 2 momentum. So this is going into your pool by 1.
Yes.
All right. Sorry, I was thinking about the rule. What was the question
It's okay.
again?
Does it seem like it was a reaction to the temperature of the planet that we've observed so far, or something in that environment?
No, but what you do observe here, and the doctor might actually start reading this as well upon the scans, but the weather patterns are very unusual. The barometric pressure in this area is fluctuating right now.
Got
Doesn't seem to be naturally occurring, judging from the data.
Just as a separate question, like outside, are there any moons orbiting this planet?
There are 4 moons.
4 moons.
There are 4 moons to
Copy
this
that.
world. Mm-hmm. Many of them are quite small. Many of them are like Ceres size, so basically huge asteroids that function as moons. But nothing quite as large as Earth's moon, for example. But
Okay.
certainly must be playing a role in like tidal currents and
Tide-
whatnot. Yeah, 100%. That many bodies of gravity in orbit of this planet, probably, you can imagine the monsoon season on this planet might be devastating.
Doctor, now that you've mentioned the radiation, some of these samples indicate that the evolution that's happened genetically may have been a result of that radiation that's present.
And just as you finish that sentence, all of you hear in the distance this T-Rex-like roar that echoes across the mountain range.
I dropped my sample.
Clatters to the stone at the ground. The commander immediately looks off in various directions and goes, okay. Don't want to jump to conclusions, but that sounded large.
That sounded bad, Commander.
Lieutenant, and glances over at you to see what your thoughts are, Belle.
Yeah, I think she's pulling up her previous scan to see. So I'm not sure what specifically, like, how precise of information I was able to get. But can I, like, was there like a concentration of it in a certain location? Like, could
The
I
forest,
try to...
yeah, the forest area in particular.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you guys are currently on a mountain, and even though when I say you're on a mountain, I mean you're at the base of it. But you guys are in the mountainous region, so you're detecting like various aviary kind of styled life, birds, or the equivalents of, Also, it's worth noting that the gravity on this planet is 0.75 of Earth's gravity. So the flying animals around here are actually quite large. And it seems like they're having a lot of gliders that you're seeing around here. Most of the life that you're seeing is out in front of you in the forest area. But if you would like to run, if you'd like to momentum spend as well.
I think I would. I would like to know more about that particular.
Everyone kind of leans in the direction as you see Belle angle her tricorder kind of where the tricorder is telling you the noise was coming from. It's actually kind of hard to pinpoint just using your ears because of all of the rocks around you. But as you angle off to the right and start pinpointing it, your tricorder starts giving you some pretty alarming information. There is a life form out there. Judging from your tricorder is both fluctuating in that it's being picked up by the tricorder and then it's vanishing again and then being picked up by the tricorder and then slipping away. And that would not be unusual if it was outside of sensor range, save for the fact that it's being picked up within 2 kilometers of where you are. That's well within sensor range of a tricorder. Whatever it is, tricorder is detecting that it's roughly 4 meters tall and probably weighing in at about 3 tons.
Well,
And this is where Oxcrew is just going to pour thread onto me.
yeah. It looks like we might have larger company than I initially thought.
What was that noise?
Something very large that potentially is and isn't there.
What do you mean?
Doctor, what do you make of these particular readings? And she's gonna kind of pull it over and if it's a life form,
I'd like to take a
maybe.
look.
It's true. Yeah.
I'd like to take a look. One of my focuses is xenobiology, so maybe that might help.
Yeah, I won't have you roll for it. Judging from the readings, large creature. If it's important not to jump to conclusions. When you hear roaring sounds like that, that could be anything.
Anything.
Yeah, that could literally, I mean, on an alien planet, that could be the creature's way of calling, of signaling to mates. Yeah. For all you know, that could be play. You have no idea. And you don't want to leap to conclusions. 4 meters tall, 3 tons. That's impressive. What's grabbing your attention is that the creature seems to be fluctuating on the scanner. The tricorder should not be having difficulty detecting this creature. It's detecting everything else, but this thing kind of is. The other thing, too, that's worth noting is despite her scan, Lieutenant Bell did not detect anything more than its height, its weight, and a general idea of where it is, which is about 2 kilometers to the east of you all. So not towards the forest, but in fact, sort of thinking towards your right, as it would be.
All right. While I'm looking at this and I'm noticing that the signals are kind of coming in and out, I'd like to start to pay attention to when they come in and out. Pattern recognition is one of my things.
Okay.
So he's
Go ahead and make a reason science check for me. You have pattern recognition as a specialty.
My values are infectious disease, pattern recognition, social studies.
Are those your
radiation.
values or your focuses, right?
Those are my values. My focuses are surgery, xenobiology, genetics, botany, Klingon.
Okay,
opera,
so
and
your
mythology.
values, those are going to be the things that are personally important to you. Those stand for things that are personally important to you or things that you have a connection to or that you value. So if you want to use a value, you have to declare that you're going to spend a point of determination. And what that does is it gives you an auto-critical to the roll.
All right. I am going to use a determination. Or
So that's going to give you an
pattern
auto
recognition.
crit, which is going to max you guys at, because the difficulty of this is going to be pretty steep, actually. I'm going to put it at 4. But you've already got 2 successes. What's up?
Oh, if that's the
You wanna-
case, I would also like to assist.
You could assist, yes. So roll a single d20.
Yes, but
And-
I would also like to burn a determination, for I have the value see beyond the scan, which I would like to apply.
Hey!
My theory
Wow.
is that we had some anomalous energy readings. I wonder if there's some interference that's happening with the scan as well.
Okay. All right. Wow. You guys made the perfect away team for this mystery. Literally.
Star Trek.
All right. In which case, go ahead and roll your d20. You're gonna. I'll go ahead and give that to you, so you can get your auto crit on that. So that'll be.
So that's 4, which is what we had needed.
Yeah, 4.
All right, and I'm rolling reason and what was it again? I'm so sorry.
Reason and science.
Gotcha. All right.
The difficulty is 4, reduced down from 5 because you're using a tricorder. You've already got 4 successes, so this is just a roll.
Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. I rolled a 20 and a 1.
Okay.
Oh wait, that's good.
That's good because you
The
crit.
best roll in the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a
1,
double
2,
crit.
3, 4, 5. So that is. So you're maxed out of momentum, and you've got you've got plenty to spend here. You've got one floating momentum.
Okay. Because I didn't offer any other additional successes.
Yeah.
Okay.
What did you want to know?
You
wanted to know if this was a naturally occurring. Oh no, Xander wanted to know if this was a naturally occurring
Right.
disturbance in the. Okay, so that's one of the questions that you can ask if you'd like.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. With
Okay.
that help, yeah, we're doing it.
You, as you're sitting there, Oba, you kind of feel this slight chill down your spine as both you and the doctor see that the data is revealing no, this is not interference, and the data that you're reading might imply that the creature has some innate way of confusing sensors.
Whoa. Camouflage.
It's very apt way of describing the way the data is coming back. It might be a naturally occurring defensive mechanism, but then how is that possible? And what is it defending? What's up, Sam?
For the purpose of considering our floating momentum, does it have anything in common with, for instance, how Jeanneret appear on scans? They're the other ones who can disappear.
Their shroud ability, yes.
Does this look like that?
That is actually the thing is, especially with the readings that you all have now on the Jeanneret, you know now how that manifests in their biological functions and how they're able to do that.
Right.
This looks erratic. This doesn't look like it's necessarily something that is as refined or controlled. Jeanneret can do it. This creature looks like it's in a state of flux almost.
Can I try and use a talent here?
Sure. What talent?
I would like to use diagnostic expertise.
Ooh.
It says you focus on diagnosing the nature of a illness, injury, psychological problem, or other condition.
Temporal flux.
I'm having him look at this biological function as like how the body do that.
That's fair. I'm going to tell you at this range and the nature of the creature, your tricorder is not giving you enough data to be able to ascertain that kind of information.
We must hike and proceed beyond this rock.
Gotcha. This is a question just about how the system runs. Is it possible to mix 2 talents, or is it 1 talent at a time? Because I think I have something that might help with this
some
range
talents
issue as well.
Some talents can trigger, but if you're going to use a talent's ability, you pick the one you'd like to use.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
But I mean, some of them happen naturally. Like, for example, being a science officer, Xander's going to get an automatic free question. And then Xander could have the science talent that allows him to get an extra question for spending less momentum. So stuff like that can trigger. But yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So the commander looks at everyone and says, well, we have 2 options. We have 2 hours. We can go find out what our friend is, or we can try to figure out what's in that direction, and points off towards the sea. He's like, but I have a feeling that whatever we choose is going to be what we do.
I believe that it is far more beneficial to see what it is this creature is doing that is so able to thoroughly confuse our scanners. This may be something that helps the Federation overall and could be useful.
New cloaking technology. Whoa.
Well. All right. He glances off towards the ocean again. And you can see him chewing on this for a second and says, gets on his communicator, taps it, says, Chala, this is Away Team 1. We've detected the presence of an unusual life form 2 kilometers from our location. Are you detecting this? A few moments pass and you hear, negative, Away Team 1. We show only you. Our tricorder readings are showing a creature of roughly 4 meters tall weighing in at 3 tons. We've even heard it. We've also detected some anomalous readings. The doctor's been picking up a creature that seems to have a fluctuating sensor dampener of some kind. Are you not detecting any of this? Negative, Away Team 1. We're going to investigate. We'll keep you apprised of the situation. Away Team 1 out. All right, let's... That's weird. Let's go check this out.
Carden is looking to Yannabelle with an expression, perhaps best translated as,
Please, 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 pretty please with sugar on top.
Kaitlin wants to split the party so bad. But I think Yana would. Unfortunately, I think Yana is not.
Carden
don't know
slips
if
up
Yana would want it.
toward Yana and says, one could be cause or consequence of the other. We won't get the full story unless we investigate robustly. It's only 3 kilometers away.
Can I use a value as a detriment to myself?
That needs to go on a t-shirt. Judging from my personal life experience, yeah.
Okay, well, she has a value that's scientist at heart.
Oh! Amazing.
So then I have to ask you this.
No, I don't think she would want. Kaitlin wants to so bad. I don't know if Yana would. Ugh.
Well, the commander pipes up and he goes, first of all, that's not Yana's call, that's mine. And second of all, I'm kind of with you on this one, Carden. I want to do both. Is there a way, I wonder, if we could just try to get LOS on this creature and then head back into the direction of the ocean?
If there's enough time before the radiation sets in.
Maybe I could ask the Chala if they could do a site to site. That would certainly save us an enormous amount of time.
If the radiation interference isn't too much,
We
I think
also
that might be a good call.
don't want to scare this creature. If, evolutionary and biologically speaking, they've developed the capability to disrupt sensors, who knows what they're running away from, if they're the prey, or who they're trying to catch, if they're the predator with these abilities.
That's very true.
After an initial scan, it should be all too easy for us to find the cause or the means of which they're able to use their biology to scramble our systems. By finding the way that they do it, it's possible that we should be able to reverse the effects without harming the creatures.
Far
And
out.
there's also the fact that Oba's detected evidence that this is not all naturally occurring. All right, let me see if the Chala can do a site to site. That would save us literally the entirety of our journey in both directions. One sec. Away Team 1 to
Carden's
Chala.
looking like, yes, I didn't even need my older sister to get Dad to do it. Dad's just agreeing. We got this, we win.
Question.
Yeah.
This might be a momentum spend, but could we have brought like the transporter beacons
Oh, the enhancers?
enhancers? I have a focus in transporter systems, so it's not a wild reach to maybe have them. Is
I
that a
narrated
momentum?
being super packed down.
Yeah.
And
So
we
maybe
already
an
knew about-
advantage for
momentum?
2 momentum?
He has a momentum spend.
That's not a momentum spend. That's so it is a momentum spend, but it's not a momentum spend because because there wasn't any immediate evidence as to why you would need an enhancer. But it's like one of those things of like, I'm going to take this just in case. It usually comes to an equipment spend, which does require momentum. So I'm going to say if you want to have brought transporter enhancers, it's going to be a 2 momentum spend to get
What we
those.
think, crew?
Yeah, good call.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
so mark that
That
down.
interference is no joke, and we don't want any accidents.
I want all of it to be intentional.
Yeah.
All right. So you've seen. Oh, I'm getting notified. You've seen that the commander is called up to the ship. Oh, gotcha. Yep. So you've seen the commander. It just says, "Away Team 1 to Chala." Away Team 1 to Chala. Chala, come in. Away Team 1 to Chala. Are you reading me? You immediately hear, Away Team 1, static breaks. Come again, Chala. We're not reading you.
What's
Somebody else.
happening with the scans of the creature, Doctor?
Do I notice any fluctuations on this scan?
The creature's fluctuations don't seem to be behaving any differently, but the creature has changed position
Uh-oh.
and is moving in y'all's direction.
No!
It's now roughly 1.7 kilometers away.
Commander, good news. It will be even easier for us to accomplish both tasks. As the subject of my interest is promptly on their way.
Wash, I appreciate that you're a glass half full kind of doctor.
I mastered the art of what you humans call bedside manner.
Right.
How fast does it appear to be moving? Do we have time?
Very. And very
Somebody
little.
else tried to reach the Chala. It might just be my communicator.
Oh, but T'Challa?
Nothing. What's causing the interference? Get me a scan. I need to know what's going on.
I would
Yeah.
like to take an engineering hack at this particular problem. please.
Okay.
I'll spend one for cautious if y'all will allow.
Yeah.
There it is. Sam's favorite talent.
Hey, I don't
It's a
have
good
it on
one.
tie.
It's a good one.
One of these days, I'm going to get Sam to take bold engineering. I'm going to get it one of these days.
It's
Only
okay,
when I
Kaz has
threat
it for
flood,
now.
but I figured because I had close-knit crew, we'd consistently have momentum, and so cautious just worked better for the
it
build.
always
It wasn't
works.
even the cautious versus bold thing.
That's fair.
Down
Okay.
one. All right. Would you say this is ship systems? Because I'm trying to get in touch with the ship.
No.
Okay.
That's interacting directly with the ship systems. So
That's fine.
yeah.
All right.
Difficulty is 3.
Okay.
You can do it.
I can, in fact. Yes.
Yes, thank you.
I don't think I have any foci that apply for me to earn that one momentum back. Apologies. But
So that brings you all down to 3 momentum.
I have us at
Copy.
1.
1? Oh.
Yes,
wow.
because we spent 2 for the.
Oh,
equipment.
right. That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Spent 2 for the equipment. Didn't mark that down. Good. Okay. 2, 3, 4. All right. So you immediately start running a tricorder scan of your own and trying to detect what is going on with the communication systems. Immediately what you discover, Cardin, is that there is an extraordinary rapid buildup of supercharged ionic particles in the upper atmosphere. It's coming out of nowhere. Like it's just sort of coalescing suddenly.
Like lightning?
Like, yeah, think of it more intense, though, on a much greater scale. Like, you don't think of, like, earth storms rolling in from the distance. Think of it more like the Nothing from the Never-Ending Story suddenly sort of branching out above. Sorry, a culture went right over Sam's head. Think of it more of just, like, a sudden expansion of a thunderstorm growing at a rate so quickly you could see it visually, and it's scary looking. And upon even noticing that in the tricorder, you instinctively look up, Cardin, which causes the commander to also look up to see what you're looking at. All of you can see in the upper atmosphere the coloration of the upper atmosphere has changed dramatically. And you thought that it was actually the same luminosity out as when you beamed down not over 10 minutes ago. But instead, what you see is the light that is being discharged here across the lower part of the mountainside is a result of a consistent luminosity that's being generated in the upper atmosphere of these clouds.
An aurora.
Yes, I'm spending 5 threat, and I'm initiating a scenic trait for this planet, Interference 5.
This really isn't clear skies.
No, that's why I was like, no, we can't call it clear skies. As that ionic energy begins to build up, the tricorder registers that the creature is now within 1.5 kilometers and is still advancing in y'all's direction. You can see the commander looking at you, Cardin, and just saying, that look is troubling.
We will not be able to get the transporters, I'm afraid.
Okay.
It's a minor major storm.
Right.
What was the amount of time in between the 1.7 kilometer and 1.5 kilometer? I need to do some very quick math. Distance and rate and time.
You don't need to spend momentum for that. You just do a quick calculation in your head. Especially being a Benzite, you can do that, no problem. As you calculate that in your head, the creature, if you gauging on the amount of time that the tricorders teach, telling you of how quickly it's crossed that that space of time, it's probably moving roughly close to. Oh, you know what? I could do this.
200 meters in.
Yeah, the doctor is probably sitting there with this tricorder reading out the distance. It is now 1.4. Now 1.3.
That was too fast, Doctor. Too fast.
The creature's probably moving somewhere around, you would guess, keeping in mind not to be too precise about this is more of a dramatic representation of the speed in which the creature is moving, not exact science, but roughly 40 kph.
Oh, that's very fast.
Very fast.
We might
at
want to
3
ready
tons.
ourselves.
Do we want to start moving in the direction of the other thing that we want to look at? It seems like they might converge.
Wallace says, why don't we do that? Let's head towards the forest. It'll give us shelter, and if nothing else, if the thing is tracking us, we'll be able to determine whether or not it is actually taking an interest in us. And if it has, then we have to assume that it has the ability to detect us at range the way we have to detect it. I'm starting to wonder how biological this creature really is.
Do you think it's a machine technology?
I don't know. Let's hold off on assumptions and just get to the forest tree line. We can take it from there. Everybody, double time. Let's go.
Based on the scans that we have, and like now that we're like looking at it, can I try to like find essentially a combination path least resistance, but also like try to keep us like out of sight essentially? Like if we go like kind of at an angle, can we kind of use some of the mountainscape to like...
If you give me a pretty good security roll, I think that is absolutely something that you tactically would sort of know how to implement as a chief security officer here.
Okay.
So yeah, I would say make me a, this might be a reason security check.
Okay. Can I buy a
I'll-
die, friends?
I'll also, I'll say reason security check. Yeah, you want to buy a die? That's one
Yes,
the
please.
last momentum.
Okay. Hopefully I can get us some back.
Okay.
Okay.
Given the terrain, I'll set the difficulty. This is a standard 2.
Okay. I have a focus in survival.
Yes, I'll give that to you.
Okay. When you attempt a task to detect danger or hidden enemies, that doesn't feel right. That's not this. That's
Not this time, no.
okay. Okay, cool. Reason. Reason. Okay. Okay, so I get one reroll because I bought a die. Oh, jeez, these dice are so mad at me.
But I'm happy about that.
That's 2 successes, but like barely. I hit my target number on 2 of them, and one is way over.
2 successes?
Jeez, yeah.
Okay, so
Very sad.
Yes, you'll be able to use the terrain to your advantage. If this thing is using sight to find you, if it is coming for you, assuming that too. But if it is making its way towards you and it is stalking you, you will be able to use the landscape to give you all some bonuses to hide and move. There's enough rocky terrain. Think of this sort of, when you get to the lower part of the mountain as you're all moving quickly, it starts to look very much like Rohan, where you just see these beautiful rock formations jutting up out of this beautiful, rich green plant life all around you. And you guys begin to dash towards the tree line. It is quite the jog making your way down there. As you do, this is an excellent time to pause for our 10-minute break. Yes,
But it'll
indeed.
catch up to us.
Already
Yeah, it's
7:30.
coming.
Why I have to kill you guys somehow.
The robot T-Rex is coming.
Yes. Assimilated T-Rex is what I saw in chat. I'm like,
Assimilated? No.
oh god, it's Dino Riders all over again. All right.
It's always dinos, Xander.
It's always dinos. Yeah.
We'll be back in 10 minutes, you all. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you then. Welcome back, everybody, to Away Team 1, which is what we've decided tonight's episode is going to be called. We are going to jump right back into the game because we've got a lot to cover, especially a lot of ground as the away team is running, possibly for their lives. We're not sure. Before we do, though, Captain's Log Supplemental. The Chala has lost contact with Away Team 1. An extraordinary buildup of ionic particles has severed all connection to the away team. But just before we lost contact, we detected a large biological creature of some kind entering into proximity of the away team. We have been trying to raise them on communications to no success. I can only hope that my junior officers were paying attention when they were learning survival at Starfleet Academy. You guys are currently trucking it through the crisp, cool air of this alien world. In the back of your mind right now, on top of everything else that is happening, is the doctor's warning that 2 hours is all you have on this planet before radiation sickness begins to set in. Not to mention you're running towards a forest right now that you haven't really had a chance to scan or navigate in any way in topographical sense. That part at least is exciting. The less exciting part, however, is the creature that appears to be honing in on y'all's location. As you were all reaching the tree line, you've basically done about a kilometer run. I wouldn't say you're all winded, but you're certainly feeling the burn, to say the least. The creature, however, has, of course, moving at its rate of speed, closed on all of you. And by the time you all reach the base of the mountain and are approaching the tree line, the data is you cannot be contradicted at this point. This creature is zeroing in on all of you. It's changed its course as you all have continued to move towards the tree line. Whatever it is, and whatever its intentions, it seems to be interested in the away team. More alarming is the fact that it knows you are here, that it was able to sense you from 2 kilometers away, and that it is tracking you.
Okay. I think as we're like on the move, Belle wants to turn to Cardin and kind of be like, since it has some kind of understanding, maybe at least a biological level of scanners, is there anything you could build to essentially do the reverse? Make us invisible?
If we stopped long enough, if we stopped running, maybe, but not while we move.
Yeah, Yana's gonna take one of the cases from you.
No.
Well, at that point, the commander, you see him just catching his breath too. He goes, "All right, we've reached the tree line. There's no point in continuing to run because this thing can outrun us. It's better if we take this moment and let Cardin work their engineering magic to see if they can pull off anything, and we set up a perimeter right here."
Cardin, well, since these are useless right now, why don't you use our communicators as a base? We can maybe set up a frequency that'll mess up its scanning capabilities.
I have a theory that I would love to examine further if I may.
Please make it quick.
Yes, Doctor.
I believe if this creature has the ability to biologically emit ions, that it may also have the ability to sense our signals. I would love very much to take a beacon from my medkit and to throw it at a distance to see if that signal is strong enough to distract them from our signals.
I mean,
Good idea.
we had to have a Dr. Grant Flair moment in this, didn't we? If we're making all the dinosaur jokes that we're having.
Yeah, I had to do it.
So this sounds like y'all are basically using a very lighter version of the scientific method system that is in Star Trek Adventures. So that requires you to essentially play a little bit of a guessing game to test theories to find out based off, and that's based off the skills you all have.
Could be Barney.
So the way this works is I'm not going to tell you which is the appropriate skills to roll here. Instead, you are all going to choose 3 and implement those plans. And then we start doing the process of elimination.
I will say we also did spend to have those
Yes, you
a
did.
transporter.
And let me, can I, I'm going to give you all this too. I would not have let you make a momentum spin like that if it was going to be useless.
Uh-huh.
So you can still, if you can find clever ways to use those.
Yeah.
So, if we're picking attributes to try, I
Particularly
would like,
focuses, yeah.
Focus.
particularly focuses.
Focuses or whatever you want to, yeah. But go ahead. Yeah, attributes, that absolutely works. Focuses works as well.
I have a serious focus and then a gag focus. So I would like to use
Dancing doctor?
I would like to use xenobiology, just going off of everything that he's seen. But my gag one was, I'll have the signal emit Klingon opera.
Well, so in order to do that, you would literally have to have a library of music, which you could spend a momentum to do and say you've got. But if you wanted to broadcast music somehow, you would need to probably do a momentum spin to say that you've got it, to say that you brought it with you.
So we get
Are y'all okay with this really ridiculous gag idea?
Well, I have y'all
We
on
don't
zero
have any
momentum right now.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
we
we're
should
at
be on
0.
1 because it is the beginning of a new scene. So
That's correct.
close-knit crew.
Close knit
reactivates.
crew, man. Sam, you have to agree with me on this one, and you too, Xander. But like the new traits and the new traits that have come out since we started playing this game are just mwah.
Yeah, it makes it
I
easy.
My-
mean, the power creep, though.
Yeah,
If Rue has
it's
had
true.
access to some of these.
I know, it's true. But they've also given me a lot of tools too for threats. So, but anyway, yeah.
I've noticed.
So, I have both data analysis and hardware prototyping,
Okay.
which seem relevant here. Data analysis insofar as I can determine, based on the construction of a tricorder, what wavelengths would be emitted by said tricorder in order to, bounce back and take scans. What could have conceivably reached this creature? Because my intuition is that it is not a mechanical wave like Klingon opera would be, but rather something on the electromagnetic spectrum, for instance, in which case this creature might not be sensitive to it in the same way that it would a tricorder.
Okay. So, how would you like to go about doing that? You're going to run a scan, basically, to find out.
Well, that is the analysis would be of a tricorder, not even really of a scan. Like the mechanics of a tricorder. What's actually, if we are asserting that our scans alerted this creature to our location, what frequencies could it conceivably have picked up on based on what a tricorder outputs during the process of a scan?
Okay. So you are going to basically look into the tricorder itself. Okay. So then that's going to be an engineering check for sure. I would say make a control engineering check.
Okay.
Is it you're using your tricorder, correct?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. What's up, Kaitlin?
I was gonna say you said we had to choose three focuses from the party.
Yeah, you basically choose three. I'm giving this as an example,
Or
but basically
three-
it's choosing three avenues
Three
of
spirits. Okay, cool.
yeah,
Beautiful.
three theories basically, and then I'll
Okay.
tell me what you're rolling.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So then
What's the
I would
difficulty?
probably pass it to Oba then, because I think you might have a more like I don't think you might have a more robust way to like look into something.
The difficulty is 1.
Thank you.
It's a tricorder. You're an engineer. You know this. Easy enough. Did you roll a 20?
No, I didn't. This one is actually the other side. Sometimes
Wow.
I smile because things go well. I got a natural one.
Okay, so
On top of, so I took for cautious, I rolled a 1, an 11, and an 8, all of which are below my number. So with my data analysis focus, that's a total of 4,
4 successes.
yielding us 3 momentum.
okay. So I now have you all at 4 momentum.
Maybe 3 because they spent. Didn't you spent?
I spent down for the
Oh,
cautious, so
3
we're back
momentum.
up to 3.
Gotcha.
Got to
Okay.
spend money to make money. Or so the Ferengi tell me.
Well, Cardin, your instincts seem to pay off. the latent energy is generated by the equipment that you were all carrying is giving off low band frequency electromagnetic waves. Yeah. You're scanning the atmosphere 3 at a time as you all standard procedure when an away team arrives on a planet. As you start looking at the energy that this is giving off, the monster or this creature, this thing that is coming at you guys, it's a strong theory that it might have detected you with the scans and is honing in on you now because of them.
Scan is the thing.
Commander, I find that with this new information, there is a moral quandary.
What's the moral quandary?
If the creature can sense our scans, that means that our scans are having an effect on it, as we cannot be certain that we are not harming the creature by doing these scans. I cannot recommend that we scan the creature further.
I agree. I don't think we should dig any further into this. If we're provoking it, maybe if we cease any outward looking towards the creature, that maybe it'll lose its scent, its trail on us.
However, that reinforces what the doctor said earlier. If we emitted the scan frequencies away from ourselves, that might give us some time where it's not chasing us.
Could give us more data too.
But we cannot be sure that we are not harming the creature by setting a signal away from us. To be sure, we were never directly scanning this creature.
But it's the point of emission. Wherever we scan from, that seems to be where it's tracking to. If we were able to perhaps send something out, like a probe, but we don't have anything with us.
I'm going to spend a point of threat as your tricorder alerts you that the creature...
That's the best response message.
Yeah, because Xander has heard me say that many a time.
Sorry, that was adorable.
Yeah, Xander knows.
We've been standing around too long.
Yeah. Y'all are okay. Y'all,
No,
this
I
is
know,
not.
I know, I know.
This is not me having to light a fire under Martinez's ass. This is more of just. This is more of just.
You mean you don't like when they cut through shortcuts and jump straight to the end of the puzzle? That's not.
Hey, hey, you know what? Back in the day, I deserved that. But in this case, point of threat is going to show that the tricorder is alerting you that since you're not doing an active scan right now, the tricorder is now alerting you that there is a creature that is still matching the description of what the data is reading off to you 0.8 kilometers from your location right now. What's up, Sam?
Low band EM. Assuming it's suboptical, that gives us infrared, microwave, and radio, right? How
Ultraviolet?
low band? Because if it's infrared, it would also track off of our body heat, and we would need to take different stealth precautions.
It's cold here.
Damn, how you so smart all the time?
You can spend a point of momentum to get that information if you like.
That feels valuable to me,
do
y'all.
it.
Do you concur?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Thank you.
That one.
Oxcrew just gave me another threat, and I appreciate you all.
Hey, time out. Ox Crew, what's going on?
Are you not entertained?
The writer's room is giving me a threat.
We need bigger stakes.
Yeah. All right.
Chat was watching like suffer.
Hey, gotta spend money to make money.
Cardin, you are crunching some hard science here, trying to put as much data as you can together based off of everything you've all experienced since you started running from this thing. You cannot shake there's not enough data to confirm, but every instinct in what you have crunched here leads you to believe that it is probably infrared.
Heat.
Heat.
It's cold here.
It could track our heat.
We should go in the water, right?
Are we close enough to have a vision, like a line of sight on this thing? Like,
I would like to have been posted up looking at
About
that
half a
direction.
mile right now.
Yeah, you're about a half a mile. You haven't seen it yet. Y'all are within the tree line too, and you've kind of formed, along with your security officer, you've kind of formed a small perimeter. So you've kind of, yeah. What's up?
Sorry, finish what you were saying.
Basically, you guys have formed a small perimeter, is all it is. An away team is taking a defensive position as you guys are taking a breath and trying to figure out how to shake this thing.
Okay, pitch. Maybe we keep moving?
Yeah.
No, specifically into the foliage, into the greenery. It gets colder, it'll get cooler. Into any sort of other life, plant life, and they could block some of our own body heat.
Also, just a suggestion. Maybe we should split up. If it's only one organism, it can only chase one of us.
If I may, I would very much love to travel alongside Lieutenant Bell. I would like to gain a visual on this creature so that I might personally see how it responds to these signals. If I make the determination that the signals aren't harming the creature or that the creature will not cease this hunt, it may be imperative for us to stun it for the time that we are here. I would much rather have the being be unconscious during our scanning.
Sir, I would love not to be present for that. Thank you.
Let's...
I would also like to not harm a life form if it's not necessary.
We'll stun it, whatever. If it comes within range of if it's coming after the away team, I'm going to authorize that we protect ourselves. That's
But not
priority
until.
one. Not until, but it does seem to be acting in an aggressive manner. So let's wait until we have all the data. Even if this thing shows up, it might be seeking us because for all we know, you guys, and the commander looks at all of you for a second, and you see a little bit of that flash of like the innocence, but also that idealism and Starfleet in his eyes. He says, for all we know, this could be a stranded survivor of some alien species that was left here eons ago that just found a lifeboat. Let's keep an open mind. We literally have no point of reference here, and we can't anthropomorphize things too quickly. We need to make sure that we get more data.
I agree.
So what should we do, Commander?
I actually like the suggestion of moving deeper into the woods. It gives us a more defensible position, and if nothing else, the other life forms that are around us might actually throw it off our trail.
If we can get dense enough plant life or other life between us and it, it might at least lose interest.
Then whoever's got who's best at it, give me a quick scan of the area ahead.
I'll do it.
Make it very quick and very subtle if you can.
May I assist?
Yes, if you want to do a low beam scan of the immediate area, I'll allow you to do that.
May
This
I
would be-
switch us to sonar? That's non-electromagnetic.
Yes, you could do sonar. You basically sending out like a subsonic ping.
Yeah.
So that would still be control science, I assume?
Yes, that'd be control science. If you're going to do this, though, this pulse is going to be uncomfortable,
Cool.
but cover your ears.
What is the difficulty?
Using this tricorder to create a subsonic pulse. I'm going to say, I'm going to set the difficulty at 3 because it's kind of like a jury rig. You're using the tricorder in a very creative way here.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Could I have we have 3 momentum. Could I spend 1 for cautious science? Oh, we have 2.
Yes.
Could I spend 1?
Yes, and you have 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that puts you guys at what momentum?
1.
1 momentum.
Woo! And then with my technical expertise, I'm going to re-roll 1. Okay, 3.
3 successes and
Still
2.
an assist.
All right. So
Another
2
natural one, same die.
net 2 more momentum.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, there is a sharp, ear-piercing ping. Just goes out, just this loud popping ping sound that echoes throughout the woods. And immediately you see a rough topographic display as the sensors on the tricorder get a snapshot of the terrain that is similar to if you flicked the lights on and off again in a room and got a quick like retinal burn of what's there. It's the same data that kind of shows up on the screen of the tricorder. It's not very precise. The tricorder was not designed to do this. So the ping, as the sound waves bounce back, you get maybe with 50% accuracy of what's ahead.
Yana, I'll transfer this data over to your tricorder as well, and if you wanted to take the lead.
Thank you, Ensign. Let's
By the way,
moving.
you do also hear lots of screeching sounds as animal life all over the trees above immediately take to the sky.
Well,
You can hear
They're
the trees
fine.
just as scattering of animal life begins to take up to the sky. Almost in response, you hear the same noise that you heard from this creature when it first made its presence known. However, because it's closer, you realize it doesn't sound anything at all like a roar. It almost sounds like a sharp whistling intake of some kind. Something that I, Eric, cannot even use my vocal cords to demonstrate. But yes, if you can imagine what it would sound like if you were, but at such a speed and intensity that it actually causes a high-pitched whistling.
I can picture it.
With that, the commander goes, all right, what'd
Yeah.
you get back with a sonar ping? Likely would have been missed with all the ionic interference of the sensor scan. There is a strange geographic formation about 0.2 kilometers inside the tree line. When I say strange geographic, I mean a non-naturally occurring geometric structure of some kind.
A building.
Possibly. Whatever it is that comes back on the tricorder does not, it is too geometric for it to be naturally occurring, and instead comes back almost like it is a low-built structure that leads just slightly over the terrain. It almost forms what looks like to be like if you took the two L's from Tetris and kind of connected them together and laid them out at an angle. It forms almost a bridge-looking like formation of rock and mineral. Curiously enough, you're not able to detect what else it's made out of or what it is, but it's large, whatever it is.
Should we head towards this structure?
I mean, if anything, hopefully we could find cover.
The commander just says, just go, run.
Okay.
Chat has given you 1 momentum.
Yay! Thanks, chat. I was given the results of a ping to try to lead us through, so I would like to make a roll with survival, if that is okay.
Yes, go ahead. I'm going to lower the difficulty down to...
I don't need a necessary call for a roll. I would like to try to lead us past the resistance, kind of.
It makes sense.
That would be yes. Okay.
In which case, I'm going to say roll a... I'm going to reduce the difficulty down to 1 because of your successful security check earlier from trying to find places to take cover as you guys were running. Because at this point, it seems to me that Belle is actually becoming pretty acquainted with the terrain.
Okay. Friends, may I use the new momentum to
Yes.
buy a die?
Oxcrew gave it to you.
Heck yeah.
All right.
Okay. And then what would you like me to roll for these?
This is going to be this is going to be interesting. I'm going to say this is a fitness security check.
Security. Okay, cool.
Because y'all are running at this point. You're not actually taking time to observe the terrain. You are building on instinct right now as you guys are moving.
And then survival as a focus, I'm guessing is.
Yep, you could do that.
Ooh. Ooh, very good. Hold on. I'm allowed to reroll, so I'm just going to take it.
Okay.
What happens here? Oh, that's really good. That's 5 successes.
Okay, so the reroll, if you take a reroll, then you lose the previous roll. It doesn't stack. So if you choose to
No, it is-
reroll...
that is.
Oh,
yeah,
it is? Okay, just making sure.
that is the reroll.
How many successes did you get?
I had got 2 under my focus, and then a 9.
So a total of
5.
5 successes?
It's
So that'll...
yeah.
So let's see, 2. So, yeah, okay. So y'all should be almost maxed out. No, that should max you out on a momentum, shouldn't it?
Yeah,
With
okay,
one
we're maxed
floating,
out
yes.
anyways. I was going to
Yeah.
ask if this is a task to detect danger enemies, because that would have dropped the difficulty down 1 more.
Not so much. Let's
I didn't
see.
think so.
All right. In which case, you guys continue to make a quick jog in the direction as the commander basically says, all right, whatever you got left, we're making one last run. Go. We're headed to the structure.
I've taken most, if not all, of Cardin's gear.
Okay.
No, I've got
Um,
it. I've got.
I am
Except
spending
for the thing you're working on.
I am spending 1 point of threat. Actually, no, this would be I'm going to spend 3 points of threat because I'm going to initiate another trait for the scene. Okay. But I am not telling you what it is yet.
Excellent.
You guys jog. You run, you jog when you can't run, and then you run some more. As they say, you kind of run until your your heart feels like it's pumping battery acid in your veins as you all continue to push yourselves further and further into the woods.
Dr. Washed, how do you still look okay?
Yeah, the Klingon is like,
I did not want to mention it, but I will be developing a strict exercise regimen for all of you
Hiring
upon
the-
returning to the ship.
yes, please help me, doctor.
me
the
die.
panini has been brutal. Okay.
Your
Unfortunately,
cardio
I
will
don't
bring
think
you
this-
no honor.
Yes, I don't think this would be an honorable death.
All right. As you are all nearing, you can see up ahead through these long, thin trees that are sprouting up out of the ground and reaching towards the sky, collecting overhead. The animals of this place are all giving out all kinds of different sorts of noises. But as you're moving through here, what starts to excite your imagination is not only the structure that you're headed towards, do you notice that there is, in fact, something underneath the growth, a collection of stones and whatnot. But more so is that you see other anomalous looking formations that could be stone. You're not sure. But what becomes clear to all of you, wordlessly looking at one another as you run, is you begin to realize you are entering into a space that may have once been built some eons ago, judging from the amount of time that has passed since you running through here. But that is short-lived, because the cracking sound of tree trunks some distance behind you snaps you into a moment of adrenaline that makes you forget how tired you are. It's close enough now, and its size gives you an idea of what's moving behind you. Now, for those who are familiar with, because we're going to be using it a lot, being human and in the modern era, but for those of you who are familiar with Earth ecology, and that would be all of us, your characters don't have the point of reference. So players, your characters spot what looks like, in just the brief moments that they look back over their shoulders, if you could imagine what a rusted colored looking 14-meter tall mantis shrimp would look like as it was barreling into, not underwater, but above ground, with chitinous legs and everything as it darts across the landscape with a sort of vertical mouth that opens up and is causing this whistling intake sound as it is exerting itself. That is the noise you are hearing. This thing has two great pincers that are arced up, much like a mantis, in front of it. This chitinous shell is refracting a little bit of the light, but it looks like it must be a natural occurrence of the biology. It does look organic, for sure. But it looks like ruddy and red. It doesn't match the landscape that it's hunting in, if it's hunting. But you all definitely get that triggering prey instinct of, this thing is not here for I come in peace. You're not sure what its sensory apparatus is that it is using to try to track you. You've only gotten the basic sense that it's electromagnetic and is somehow infrared. You don't know if it has spotted you or not, and it is a good distance away. But again, the size and the aggression that is causing it to literally smash through trees that are not moving out of its way is enough to ignite that instinctual fear in all of you. And you can just hear the commander go, "Go, go, go!" as you are all running. You're going to reach the entrance of the structure. That is exactly what it is. When you get to this bizarre formation, all of you have the briefest moment of that you allow yourselves of, "Oh my God," as you see in the excitement, this does indeed look like an artificially created entryway of some kind that leads into the ground. And interestingly enough, it doesn't look like it's stone. It looks like it's decayed metal of some kind, like depicting some kind of technological presence of perhaps. Like almost you found a metal storm shelter of some kind. Also, evidence of caved in areas of the structure itself that might indicate where you might put, I'll just say off the top of your head, Cardin, the moment you see this, you're like, that's where I would put a console if it was a door that would let me open and close it. Instead, though, it is hollowed out and covered in soil and is sprouting up all kinds of different grasses. This thing has been here, just from looking at it, all of you get the sense that this thing has been here for thousands of years, at least, judging from the extreme metal fatigue. But without a tricorder scan, you don't know what you're into.
Oh boy.
The interior also, it does not lead straight down like a storm cellar. Again, thousands of years, it is largely clogged up with soil, and there is a small open space that you are all going to have to crawl through, which is going to require a fitness check, which means on an extended task roll, we are going to roll to see how quickly the away team can crawl into this space with a time task of this thing reaching you.
I want to do something extremely bad idea.
Okay.
I think we probably clearly all see that there is a way we are all going to have to get in. Yana's going to peel off from the front and have everybody just go.
Okay.
I'm going to take out my phaser and I want to fire ahead where we're going at like further ahead, maybe like 30, 40 feet as far away as we can, like at the base of a tree, just sustained. I want to heat up something the direction we were running. Sustained fire while my crew gets in, and then hopefully I can duck in after them.
Okay.
If I go last, that's the goal.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Yeah.
So sorry, everybody.
Don't do this.
All right, let's see.
I don't need to start a fire. I just want something to get real hot.
Hold on a second. I'm going to set that at 8. Yeah, let's see.
The extended task.
10, 10, 20, 30. So I'm going to say you will get, let's see, there's 4 of you. No, there's 5 of you. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to be generous and say you'll get 9 attempts.
Okay.
All right. So extended task, base difficulty is 3. With the resistance of... Oh, no, I'm going to set the base difficulty lower than that. I'm going to set it at 2. Because the resistance is going to be 2. You're literally...
So whatever successes that we get, it'll take 2 off of that.
Correct. Yeah. Also, thank you, Xander. I forgot you're also a fellow STA GM, so this is a good refresher.
Oh, no, it's been a while. It's a review for me, too.
It's a review. So you're going to have 8. The magnitude of the task is 8. So it's not vicious, but you only get 9 attempts. And if anybody gets in, keeping in mind that if anybody does any gets kind of complications, that is going to use up more than a few attempts. So, but while this is happening, so we have Cardin is going, or not Cardin, Belle is going to use your phaser trick. So what I will do is I'm going to put that towards the extended task.
Okay.
That will help buy time for everyone. So that's going to manifest in the narrative as you giving everyone a chance to crawl into the space. Yeah. So you're going to try to basically charge something. Okay, so there is actually a lot of metal alloys around here that you could superheat with the phaser.
Ooh, okay. I want it away from us, though. So if there's something I could just, like, grab and just, like, chuck and then pull out the phaser
Canteen.
and just... Yeah.
Water.
Yeah.
Phaser will absolutely destroy a canteen if you try to superheat it.
Yes.
You need something dense, thick, and large, and that needs to be something more of like a structure. And anything you're carrying on you is going to be obliterated by the phaser.
It would give you a steam cloud.
This is true. Yeah, that would dissipate heat in a different way. That would be a big target, actually. Is there any with this big structure? Is there more? Like, can I see other? Like, okay.
Yes.
So stuff
Remember, I was
further.
describing how you guys were running in through. You see a couple.
It's not
yeah.
all one. Okay, so then yes, something that's further that direction. Then yeah, I'm gonna take the canteen thing.
I'm gonna spend a point of threat, and I'm gonna give this to you, but
okay,
it's gonna put you just slightly out of range of this opening. which means that in order to do this, you're actually going to have to remove yourself from the attempts that everyone else is making and be the last person in.
That's what I want to be the last one in.
All right.
Yeah, I just want it to be past us, like the way we were going, but it's a big target, essentially.
Okay, so you dash off in the other direction, and because we are following the structure of how command works in Star Trek Adventures, this is a bit of a departure from how we used to do it in previous campaigns, and it's something I'm adapting for all future campaigns. To give players much more agency, they can do whatever they want, and in doing this, it manifests in the narrative as if the commander gave this order to you.
Oh, I like that.
So
So
Belle,
it's their bad decision if it goes wrong.
right. Well, in this case, Belle, you say, I think I've got an idea, and you throw the idea, and the commander just says, do it.
Yeah.
Ah, cool.
So you dash off.
Just kind
You
of
guys,
peel away in another.
you watch Belle just tear off into a direction, pull out her phaser. Deet, deet, you set up the power setting. Your phaser is going to be spinning a power point here. So this is going to actually cause to superheat the phaser, you're going to have to do a sustained beam.
Yeah.
So that actually, if I remember correctly, the phasers do have a charge, if I remember correctly. A charge
Yeah,
rating.
that's one of its qualities is that
Okay.
it has charge.
Yeah. Qualities charges.
Okay, cool. So,
That's fair. It's a very charged situation.
oh, there it is.
I have a phaser type 2 is what is in my character.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's
good
type
old
2 as well.
As security officer, I think is the
standard standard issue. Okay, so give me 1 second here as I open up ye old books. Oh, actually, I've got what am I doing? I'm not used to using tricorder edition. So when I have it open, I'm like, oh, what?
Where am I?
What is? Yeah. Where is?
memory of this place.
I have no memory of this place. Let's see. Charged. Nebulae. Charged black holes. Oh no. Okay. Give me 1 second here. I just want to. It's not entirely necessary, but I just want to see if I can pull up the equipment list because I know that charged actually functions as a specific. It's not necessarily vital for this.
Charges is like it looks like it has.
Yeah, because what I'm basically to give you an insight of what I'm trying to get at here is that you're doing something really, really cool, but you're also pushing your equipment, which you should be doing. You're pushing it to its limits. So in some cases, it might actually be dramatic to say, okay, well, in that case, does Belle expend the energy out of their phaser to get this done? And if that is the case, then it should have an absolutely positive effect. So why don't we say this? Instead of like milling about and looking for the equipment list, I will give you this. If you are willing to expend the charges from your Type 2 phaser, I will, in which case I won't even have you roll for this.
Oh, sick. Okay.
We'll do that. So you basically, it's...
Well, how does that affect the track then?
So we'll roll for the track, but you're not going to, but here's what I'm going to do. We're going to basically, we've seen this done in TNG. You basically set the phaser on the ground, you find something to prop it up, and you activate a sustained beam, set it to fire, and then run. And it basically just keeps firing. This red beam of energy lances out and starts superheating this metal temple that's about waist high, sticking up out of the ground, and it just starts to superheat. Well, it looks like debris.
Okay.
So with that case, in that case, go ahead and make me a definitely a security check. But I'm gonna say, let's say control security.
Okay. I believe there will be enough momentum for everybody to spend. So I'm gonna ask for a momentum.
Okay,
We still had one floating.
Oh.
that's true, and you haven't left the scene yet.
Sweet. I'll take the floating one then.
I am out of threat. If that'll make you all pleased.
Eee.
Sorry, can you say again? Controls security.
Control security.
Control security. Ooh, okay, that's my good one. Wait, sorry. What am I? I don't know if I have a focus that applies.
What are your focuses?
Hand phaser, survival, organic.
Hand
chemistry.
phaser.
Hand phaser. Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Okay. Because I bought a die, I can do one reroll. Oh my gosh, not even in the tray. Okay. Okay. That's 5.
5.
Nice.
That's 4.
So-
a 4, a 1, and a 13.
So you're gonna grab your 6-sided dice.
Okay.
So So now I believe you roll 2 plus the amount of successes that you rolled. So
Oh, okay.
So,
Minus
but it's
the-
yeah, minus the resistance, which is
Okay.
so it's net successes. So it would be 4 dice total, minus an additional 2 more. So you're gonna roll total of 4 6-sided dice.
Okay.
And tell me what effects and anything else you roll.
Yeah, you'll have to remind me of numbers. I know.
Remember, you
3
can
and 4 don't do anything.
Also, you can spend momentum to gain piercing and remove that resistance.
I'm gonna
if
let
you-
the rest of my team have momentum. right
Okay,
now, I
cool.
think.
No, go for it. No, we have huge floating momentum right now.
It's
Why
true.
we do not?
okay, I'll take one. I'll take
Okay,
one.
Because
So-
it only costs 1 for 2 resistance.
And so if you get rid of the resistance, you now have an additional 2 dice.
Holy moly. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, not even in the dice tray. Okay.
What's your security score?
My security score is 5.
Oh, so yeah, okay. Go ahead. So what'd you roll?
1, 2, 1, 6, 1, 3.
Okay, so that's 6 is an effect. Okay, so
Sorry,
so,
three ones. Is that
Okay,
anything?
yes, that's 3 ones.
A 2,
Okay, so that's 2 more.
a 3, which I believe is nothing,
Nothing,
and then a 6.
and then an effect.
So 5 and an effect.
Okay.
Or 6.
Oh,
not
that's right.
6.
Resistance would actually subtract from your successes, not your dice. But then
Oh.
you could spend an effect to gain piercing, which is what you would have just done now.
Oh,
because
right.
It counts
Okay,
as 1 plus
okay.
an effect. It's taken out. It's hot. We're scraping off the dust here.
It's good, it's
The
good.
rust,
Yeah, yeah,
rather.
Whatever
Okay,
you
so
want me to do, we'll have. Yeah.
so you gain piercing from that. In which case, gain back the momentum because you didn't actually have to spend it here. So let's see. 3. Got rid of the resistance. That's how many? Okay, so that's going to be how many? Let's see. So 3, 4, 5. So 6 total. That's a breach because that's gonna take over. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's a breach, which is going to give you 1 success automatically. That's going to go towards. That's actually going to reduce the base difficulty down to 1.
Yes.
You know what? With just the first action yielding that much success and a breach, there's really no point at this point in the rest of you guys rolling. What's going to happen here is as you activate and you can hear the creature immediately reacting as you come running back. And at about this point, the commander is already in and is pulling in the next person, whoever it's going to be at this point. You see this creature beeline towards the superheated metal that is firing, and you can hear that horrible cosmic horror intake whistle that's coming out of this creature's mouth that you now realize is some kind of aggressive vocalization. By the time you are pulling yourself into the space, Belle, you can hear this thing colliding with the trees that were over by the area where the phaser is firing. And you're inside. You pull yourselves all in.
Scrambling, like totally like skid across, like or in a circle to get crawl down
Now-
in and meet everybody.
However,
Fair enough.
I don't know. I don't feel right. I don't feel right doing that unless I spend. Well, no, that's not really. Yeah, that's a threat spend. I don't feel right doing that unless I've got threat, and I don't have any threat left. Hold on,
Nah,
let me double
fam,
check. Did we
do
get
it.
any
Hurt
threat?
us.
Stop
Did-
grabbing for the channel points.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
threat.
Well,
I
no.
hear you.
So
You want channel points.
let me tell you what I was going through just now. How did you guys get your equipment in there? Did you have time to get?
Oh.
So in my mind, I'm like, should I say they have to? No, that's a threat spend to say that you had to struggle, that your equipment is still out there, or that you need to go out and get it, or whatever. I'm gonna say with the success. I just heard a beeping sound.
You asked for it, of course.
Yeah,
they're
it's
gonna
good they're
do.
going to give it to you.
Oh, the channel gave a threat while I was debating. It's okay. I'm
yeah,
not.
of course that's what.
I'm-
Yes, of course they did.
Don't worry. I'm not going to spend it here because I've already made the ruling that it's not. It's going to. But you guys managed to get your engineering equipment and the transport enhancers are all. You managed to get them all in, thankfully, because you sacrificed your phaser, so you no longer have that piece of equipment. So with
Yana
that
comes,
gone,
like, tumbling in and is like,
oh, and you gained a momentum.
"Woo."
So that is a floating momentum now, I believe, because y'all are at max.
Yes.
Okay.
If I do see Belle come back in without a
tumbling in.
phaser,
Dirt all over her uniform as she's been belly dragging herself across this. All of y'all have got dirty uniforms at this point, dragging yourself across that ancient soil. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Nunic is just gonna pass Lieutenant Bell their phaser. I have no use for this.
Thank you, Doctor. And then just go.
Okay, you've got a Type 2 phaser again.
Just
Cut
count
it out.
head counts real quick. While
Commander just tells everyone, shh, and then clicks on, unfolds the under half of the tricorder and clicks a button, and you just see beam of light shine out as he looks down what looks like to you a corridor. And you hear Wallace say, "Holy shit. Well, looks like we finally found our big Shackleton discovery 2 weeks in. Eat your heart out, Sally, Ride, and Ross."
Do you think this seems like an advanced civilization that existed here at one point?
Yeah, maybe. Looks around.
A quick question for the surroundings. We are inside a sort of like cave structure. You said, is there like moss or other plant-like structures that is in here?
You see evidence of lots of detritus, like debris from weather, plant life that has grown up in here. You also see insectoid life that immediately scatters at the sight of the light beam that shines across them. But interestingly enough, it doesn't look like a lot of the exterior has actually flooded into this area. You can see lots of evidence of probably like from rains or whatever that flooding has occurred inside. But it doesn't look like, aside from a layer of soil that is gathered on the bottom, you don't see a lot of intrusion from nature on the outside. It does look quite aged, though.
I'd like to check for two things if I could.
Mm-hmm.
One, I'm looking for the level of radiation in the structure. I want to know if the radiation is coming from here or if we have shielding here, which would change the amount of time we have. To
Roll
be safe on the planet.
reason science as you scan.
No chance I can fight for medicine.
Oh,
What about a
Oh,
floating
it would be
momentum?
medicine. Yeah, it would be medicine. Thank you for correction. Yes, that would be
Okay.
that would be
Also have
reason medicine.
the floating momentum.
Difficulty
wow.
is, and the difficulty is 1.
Okie dokie. I'm very upset by this. I got 11 and a 2. So close, y'all. I'm so sorry.
How many successes?
Both good.
That is 2 successes. My target number was 15.
Well,
Yeah.
did,
Okay.
you have, did any of your focuses apply?
Focuses.
Radiation. Do you have a focus in radiation? Don't
Oh,
you?
that's my value.
You have a value of radiation. So what's your value of radiation? Out of curiosity.
My value is radiation expert. So
Oh, so you're just a character who's deeply fascinated by radiation, and you
Yeah.
have it. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
All right.
And I guess for I could argue maybe genetics or botany, taking a look at the flora inside the cave and seeing how it's been affected. Okay, yeah, I was pushing it.
Yeah, but you gain 1 momentum for that.
Heck yeah.
all right. Yeah.
So a trait has been added to the scene when I'm from my momentum spin earlier. Sickness 1. Each of you has been mildly touched by the radiation at this point. Starting now, everything is going to be at an increased difficulty by 1, as you're all starting to feel the slow effects start to set in of mild, I wouldn't say nausea. We're not there yet, but I would say just like cold sweats.
Since we
Milo.
have maybe a bit of time and we're not being actively chased, Doctor, do you think we could create a sort of inoculation temporarily, just on the fly?
Noir, I'll go ahead and answer that for you. With your medical kit, yes, you can treat. You can absolutely treat for that.
It shouldn't be very difficult, especially if with my talents we will be able to
I'm feeling
sustain.
kind of icky in my tummy.
Yeah,
Yes,
you're getting into the headache phase. Y'all are getting into the phase where the headache is starting to set in, among
there is
other things.
significant life that has existed here.
You
with
will
the radiation,
experience rashes, itching, slight coughing, and the beginning of what I understand is sort of known as diarrhea.
Oh,
But he begins to work on the inoculation.
That's easy. You've got to. I mean, all you have to do here, Noir, is as the medical officer of the away team with your hypospray, you can easily inoculate right now against this level of radiation. It will take 1 point of momentum to remove the trait sickness 1 from the scene. So you can basically inoculate everybody right now.
Sweet.
As the chief medical officer of this away mission.
So yeah, after he opens his med kit and gets the hyposprays all loaded up, he just goes to each of you. May I? And he runs down like, this is what I'm doing. This is what's happening.
Just a hypospray on the side of the neck, one by one. The doc just goes by all of you. Immediately you feel a little wooziness as the hypospray takes effect. The thing is radiation is just one of those things where no matter how advanced it gets, it's always bad. And even though your sickness 1 is being removed from the scene for right now, you are still going to feel a mild like wooziness. That feeling you get when you're about, I'm sorry to do this, TW, but I'm like when you are about to get car sick.
Oh,
It's that, and that'll persist for a few minutes here, and you should be okay.
The doctor is gonna go to the commander and say, we need to come up with a decisive plan.
Oh, 2 momentum to remove a complication. Thank you. Not 1.
we had one floating, I believe.
Yeah, so you could just remove 1. So that puts you guys at 5?
5. Mhm.
Yeah, okay, cool.
We either need to understand this creature and find the way best to thwart it, or we need to see if there's an exit to this cavern. But we are running out of time.
Let's look for an exit. If this is something that clues us into how this planet is reacting so quickly, if the ionization, the creature, whatever this was, I have a feeling we're just starting to figure things out.
Well,
There
if
was-
anything, we've got shelter to wait out the storm to transport back.
It's true.
There
The
was a
inoculation-
console outside.
Oh,
That
yeah.
implies that there is the existence, perhaps, of a control room. It may not still be functional, but it may give us the opportunity to find something. Perhaps there will be permanent storage that we would be able to use our own devices.
Should absolutely take a look.
Lieutenant Cardin, are you able to decipher anything from the alloy used to create this artificial structure?
That is a lovely question.
Mm-hmm.
May I make a roll? Master
Yes,
of
you may.
Games?
I would say that's a control engineering check.
All right. We have the ship's scans as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we can also compare the metals used here to the composition of the planetary crust. See if these
It comes
are
from here.
Native.
locally available minerals. I'm gonna grab one for cautious.
Okay.
We might also be able to compare the minerals to what the creature was made out of, too. If there's anything there.
We did not get. We notably only got height and weight from it. We
That's
did not
right.
get.
Composition.
How?
Oh
That's
boy.
It's on a different die this time than that one.
2 success. So the difficulty was only 2. So what did you get?
A 1, an 8, and an 11.
Nice.
Okay.
So that would be 4.
4 as you run a tricorder scan over the material. So first of all, a bit of excitement begins to brew inside of you,
Oh yes.
Cardin, because you immediately detect the presence of magnesite and titanium, 2 elements in alloyed form. There's no way this wasn't an advanced species of some kind, whoever built this.
Yes.
Those are materials that are used in starship hulls, and you are seeing it now appear here on your tricorder. That leads you immediately to believe that this was advanced somehow. You have floating momentum. Would you like to ask any more questions?
Yes. How available are those on this planet?
Cross-referencing that with what you had from the library banks on the Chawla, they are native.
Okay. Can I determine to any extent the contours of this facility? Is it a facility or is it a ship?
Is it a ship?
Yes, indeed. The tricorder scan. So first of all, you're also detecting a lot of ionization, which you imagine has to be localized above you, because the scan is giving away
Following us.
decreased ionization in where you all are right now. In other words, it's entirely possible, Cardin, that if Bell or Oba or anybody were to attempt to communicate with each other using their communicators, it might actually function down here.
It's the top interference.
Right.
But yes, your tricorder scan reveals a facility. Multi-leveled. There looks like there is a chamber that is roughly 1 kilometer in diameter somewhere in the middle of this facility. It goes about 2 kilometers deep into the crust. You're also detecting signs of multiple rooms and low level radiation in here for sure, but it's actually not as bad as it was outside. In fact, if you had to guess, just judging from your tricorder readings, it looks like the radiation that's in here is probably ambient from the outdoors, perhaps exposure to the outdoors.
Okay, understood. I think I have enough room for one more before I start cutting into our real numbers. On the obtain, dating of the metal.
Okay, you're basically trying to like carbon date it, as it were.
Like potassium argon.
Potassium argon, yeah.
I don't know the right dating for this material.
So that would be a
Anyway,
momentum
point.
spin. That would be a momentum spin. So that's
Right,
going to
so
double
that
up.
should clear out the rest of the floating from the 4.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure, and I'd have to double check, but I'm pretty sure obtain information doubles every time you spend to gain.
Right. So this is my
more.
second.
Yeah,
I think,
this is your second.
responding
So right,
facility
okay.
Question.
How old is it? Judging from the readings, you estimate that this is in the proximity of perhaps 50 to 65,000 Earth years in age.
Old and yet young. Extremely advanced. I know a way that is not the path forward, but might yield answers. There's a very large room. You could fit that whole creature in there multiple times.
Good, because there's one question that has been lingering since we got here. Why would a creature evolve in such a way that it has the ability to scramble systems and to sense signals? What evolutionary advantage does it have?
It may have been designed that way, and if it had 60,000 years or so to develop...
It is heat sense. It is valuable for hunting in itself. It might not be deliberate. It could be an adaptive advantage in itself when hunting for organics.
Although,
Assuming it was hunting, it could just be aggressive.
but let's point out too that you were able to detect that there was a non-naturally occurring genetic.
Scrambling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Everyone's right from what it
Camouflage.
sounds like. Yeah.
it
More data
might
is
have been-
required.
If some
I would like to go to
other-
the large room for the data that's required.
Just on the off chance, what if this large room was the power source for this facility?
Oh, I'm sure the tricorder would have picked that up.
I fully trust the tricorder right now and everything it says.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one.
one of their hands, Cardin is making a gesture, the Benzite equivalent of fingers crossed. behind back.
Yeah. You also see Wallace looks a little skeptical as well. Says, yeah, I don't know. We'll see about that. We might find that but if there is a power source down below, we might be able to use it to our advantage. If we could power the signal boosters, maybe if we could find a way to amplify the signal using our transport.
We
Let's
could
get
use
down
their
there.
power source to amplify our signal beacons and by pierce through the interference for our transporters.
We could basically make the pattern buffers even more powerful, and that would help us get back up to the Chalda. All right, let's whatever the next move is. Doctor, just keep monitoring to see how we're doing and making sure that there's no surprises in the air down here. And the rest of us, let's keep moving forward and seeing what this large room that Cardin is excited to see. And we'll find out. All right. With that,
Your lead.
the commander takes point as you all begin to move deeper into the facility. At first, it is a bit Temple of Doom. Moving through here, this place has been completely commandeered by insects and life and creepy crawlies, various different types and sizes. But when you reach the end of what you assume has to be a multi-roomed corridor, some of this place looks like it has been completely claimed by nature. But as you enter into the final, what looks like stretch of the corridor, and I only say that because the end of this corridor yields to be what looks like a collapsed interior door that looks like it was a strange mechanism of almost like a shutter that would open and close. This one has remained mostly open and looks like it is not functioning. It's easy to step right through, but you have to like duck your head down and push through. When you get to the other side, though, you see indeed, as you might have suspected, that the intrusion of nature into this part of the facility is significantly less, as is the signs of the outside world's aging effects on this place. But that's not as exciting as what you now see to be clear indications of control consoles that have no power. Darkened screens with what look like areas of interaction. Curiously, some of them are low on the floor, maybe a foot or so off the floor, and even look like they offer almost a tabled area of where somebody who may have been smaller or could use their feet was operating a control perhaps on the floor from the looks of it. But you also see they vary in size, going up and up and up to about 1.5 meters or so. So not big. As you all are starting to move past them, Wallace is just looking at them going, oh man. I have to get if we have time, let's take as much information as we can. First course of action, though, is finding a way back to the Chalda. That's priority 1. Priority 2 is getting whatever data we can. And he looks directly at you, Cardin. Understood?
Sir.
All right.
Well, I'm not an engineer, but perhaps with what equipment we do have, we could do the opposite. Maybe give this console a bit of a charge, a jump start. See if we can't get it running.
Let's see how many more consoles there are. This is console 1. I have a feeling we're going to find a lot of these things, especially if we're headed towards the room that Cardin is wanting to go to.
Is there any way for us to decipher the creatures of origin for this ship? I can confirm that this is not Klingon.
We'll have to figure this out.
Doctor, you would be better at inferring from the functions and sizes and so on that we see to a compatible physiology, would you not?
I could take a guess. I was hoping that we may be able to decipher more precisely from the technology. But if I were to take a guess, I would. And I would like to roll, please.
All right. So that's going to be your reason. That is going to be reason science.
Okay.
Reason science. I'm going to set the difficulty of that at 2.
Alrighty.
It's a facility of baby Ferengi.
Okay, so that is a
An arm.
10, which is under my target number, which is reason science. That's going to be
The babies, they're
13.
all ears.
And then the other die is a 20. So I'm
Thank you.
Did I do that?
Whoopsie doodle.
So how many successes?
So that is just the one.
Okay, so you start, I'm going to spin that thread immediately, and you start working out, just from the sample size of your scans, you start trying to taking larger samples is going to be necessary to see if you can't piece together, and to see if the universal translator can't help you piece together some kind of system that you might be able to interpret any symbols or symbology or anything like that you come across on these consoles. Now, it looks like these consoles probably don't offer a lot of data or information or visuals unless they're powered. There's no obvious power play. There's no obvious sources to initiate any kind of power uplink in this particular console unit.
I am having difficulties. I am having difficulties boiling down the possibilities that it could be. I will need more time.
More samples. We'll find more consoles for you to scan.
Just curses in his breath in Klingon.
All right. You all continue to journey deeper into the facility. And if you could imagine a montage of scenes of you all looking around yourselves in amazement as beams of light shine across a facility that looks like no one has walked through this place in thousands and thousands of years. The air down here is very stale. Thankfully, the doctor's tricorder doesn't detect anything hostile in the air, but you do notice that the radiation becomes significantly lessened the deeper you go. And sure enough, the deeper you go, the less interference between all of you, to the point where your communicators are working perfectly, but you can't reach the Chala yet. You travel down the length it was going to take you to get from the mountain to the ocean is about the amount of distance that you all manage to travel as you go spiraling deeper and deeper into this facility. And indeed, it does spiral. This starts to give each of you a haunting impression, and it starts to come to you one by one as you're looking around. No one vocalizes it at first until you reach what could best be described as an observation deck, into which, when you enter out onto what looks like a large platform, you see glass that has managed to maintain after all of these years. So probably not glass per se, but a transparent field. And beyond that, and beyond that, your breath, each one of you, catches as you see what is undoubtedly what looks like a center column filled with what looks like a hive of pods, millions of them attached to this center column and stretching all the way up into a darkness, disappearing far above. You do see the faint ambient glow of small green lights emanating from some of the pods. At this observation deck, it looks like this deck spans, if you had to guess, this deck itself is part of this circular room that you've now entered into. The chamber that Cardin had found on the tricorder scan has located essentially that great space. The platform or the observation deck you were on, you're not sure where it stops, but judging from where you're standing, you can look kilometers across and see the faintest glow of green lights, which you imagine the deck probably just wraps all the way entire around this part of the facility, whatever it is. But you can't see it with your eyes. The light source just vanishes into the darkness. It's simply too great. There is consoles set up all around you. You can see multi-layered consoles and some readout consoles as well. Same formation, same different types. But what's also curious is in this room, there are also pods built into the walls. They're roughly the size of a photon torpedo. So about 2.5 to 3 meters long, maybe. Well, that's a bit big for a torpedo, but about the same size, about the same width.
I'm immediately going to scan to see what's in the pods, like if there's a fluid. If there's like fluids, what comprises the fluids, and what kind of life form would that sustain?
That is a reason medicine check.
Yana will be taking out her newly acquired phaser. Not raised,
Activated.
but it is out. It is out.
Set that to stun.
It surely is.
Okay.
Okay, so that's going to be a 2 and a 9.
Nice.
for a total of, I believe that is 3 successes.
3 successes with a difficulty of 2. I keep forgetting to tell you the difficulty beforehand. I have to get back in the habit of that. Difficulty was 2. So you get 1 momentum.
Hey!
Full up, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, so I better use this then.
Yeah.
Ask a question after you.
Yeah.
do.
Yep.
Your tricorder detects biological signatures all over this room and throughout the center column. The registry of data as it starts coming up in the tricorder would indicate that every single one of these pods holds biological life
Okay.
or biological presence or residue. But essentially you're registering organics in each one.
All right. So with my question, it is a focus, so he would probably think this. So he's going to look a little deeper to see if these are naturally occurring or if they have been genetically manipulated.
You don't have a baseline.
Okay.
What you discover is, from what you were reading, well, first of all, you would need to establish what's in the pods.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was going off the hunch that whatever it is outside, these are the baby them.
Well, you move over to one of the nearby containers that actually has a small green light that just slowly is turning on and off, like fading in and out slowly. As you move over to it and start scanning it, Doctor, there is a humanoid life form inside this pod.
Commander. Things just got complicated.
What have we got? And he looks over, comes over to where you're standing.
Humanoid life form.
As the data continues to come in, you see the silhouette of what is inside as it has been scanned. It looks like...
What's in the box?
Yeah.
People.
Sam was making that joke.
You heard nothing. I said nothing.
You detect a life form that is probably, first of all, it's quadrupedal, looks like. But it also looks like, judging from the scan, it has a secondary torso, almost like a centaur. Secondary torso comes up where it also has arms and shoulders. Probably this one probably averages in height, if you're guessing from the strike recorder scan, about 1.5 meters tall and about 2 meters long. You detect 3 ocular biological signatures, indicating that it probably has about 3 eyes on what would be manifesting as sort of like a head-like structure on top. Has a large mouth that forms just underneath the eyes. You also detect it has large sacs that go down the length of its neck that are internal but can be inflated, judging from what the tricorder scan is seeing.
Gotta kill all trumpets.
It does have 2 arms and two thick hands at the end of each arm of the upper secondary torso. It has a short, thick-like tail, a curious fungi-like fiber that has grown along the spine that looks like it's part of it, but it doesn't register as fungi. It is just it's how it looks as it kind of has grown up along the spine into little pods that kind of gather and peek out from above. According to the tricorder, that's what you see on the inside. It is, for all intents and purposes, in stasis.
All right, so the little fella's alive. Okay. I'm gonna share that with the commander.
The commander's eyes widen when you say this, and he looks at you all, and then he turns and he looks at the center column, and he moves over to it and puts his hand up on the glass and says, "Where are we?"
I'd like to run this data through the Federation database to see if
Never
have
before
any
registered.
info.
Nope. Does not come up on any known Federation database.
Commander, our preliminary surveying of this planet has now become a first contact.
Incredible.
Speaking of which, I might be able to help. And Oba will extend his Betazoid empathy out towards these humanoid creatures to see if there's any sort of resonance. On top of using the talent Empath, he has a value called Sing to the Plants and They Sing Back. And so I would like to burn a determination for that, just to try to reach out to these creatures.
I love this crew so much.
You set your tricorder down.
Yeah, no technology.
Oba, it's always a risk when making contact with a new sapient race. Assuming these are the sapient race, who knows?
And I don't have
But-
telepathy, so this is more of emotional exchange.
You close your eyes and begin to focus. First of all, for all the pods that are in here, you do not feel the presence of very many minds. Which, judging from the tricorder scan that there's a lot of organic material in here, tells you that a lot of these pods do not contain living tissue or living beings. But the second thing is from this one that's nearby, you don't know what its emotional state would be. As you reach out to it, but it is intelligent and it's dreaming.
I'll physically make connection with it.
Okay, you walk over to the pod and touch the pod.
I do have a focus that I made up.
Sure. What do you got?
I gave him floral empathy because I imagined like a hippie tree hugger talks
Nice.
to the.
In Star Trek, are you kidding? I mean, who knows what the odds are of encountering a sentient plant life creature that can actually talk to you and
Right?
evolve and maybe even start its own M-class planet somewhere in the middle of the galaxy where Starfleet can't find it.
I'll call it Jenny.
So when you place your hand upon it, you stretch out and try with your feelings to see if you can't connect your minds. Interestingly, if it doesn't work the way you were expecting, but it does yield an answer. The creature inside is not vegetable in origin. You definitely get the sense that it is sapient, and it does not feel like the creature outside at all. It doesn't have any. You don't get a sense of familiarity with that. But you do get the sense that this being is in a, for lack of a better way of saying it, a curious psychological recursive state, probably to protect its mind while it's in stasis. So it's been living the same dream, which you think must be a pleasant dream.
And he'll start to share this out loud, first just mumbling with his eyes closed of, it's a dream. It's all a
I'm
dream.
going to spend a point of threat.
Oh boy.
And your mind is
It's a
suddenly
nightmare. It's all a
shocked.
nightmare.
Yeah, wait. Yeah, Oba goes from like telling you about this, and then all of a sudden, Oba, you just kind of seize up for a second. You see Oba's knuckles go white, and Oba, you suddenly feel flashes in your mind.
Pain!
Flashes in your mind of a civilization hundreds of thousands of years old. The feelings of desperation. An environment upon the edge of collapse from utter recklessness from the civilization that lived here. Ecosystems being destroyed. An entire planet's natural resources being consumed recklessly by the people who were dominating the space. An attempt, multiple attempts, you see flashes in your mind of life ships, lifeboats. Attempts to colonize, to break away, to flee a dying world. You see not only lifeboats, but life rafts. This place. Places built to sustain over long periods of time. You immediately get a sense of what's happening here. You realize you're in a place that was a last hope to survive and maybe one day awaken when the planet had healed itself. But then you also see flashes, feelings of rage, sensations of hopelessness, technology being used, primitive terraforming, to try to salvage this world and accidentally unleashing waves of ionic radiation across the upper atmosphere, saturating the entire ecosystem, corrupting the animal life, killing millions of species, and the breaking point in this particular moment, your head throws back as for a briefest of second, you catch a flash of the extinction that took place in this world that happened over the period of 5 to 6 maybe Earth years of total collapse from technology that was not implemented responsibly. Their salvation became their doom.
The radiation.
I'm immediately grabbing Oba and scanning.
He
I'm
is
immediately grabbing Oba to hold up.
okay.
Yeah.
To keep upright.
You grab hold of him, and as you pull grabbing hold of him, Oba, you manage to get your hand away from it, and 2 things. First of all, gain 5 points of stress.
Oh no!
Oh no!
That's almost all of them.
Which is going to actually break you, because
Yeah.
5 points breaks you.
You can
So,
spend to avoid the injury if you need
You
to.
can spend to avoid the
We
We
injury.
do have momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take it.
But does Xander want to?
I want this to play out type
Okay,
of
cool.
thing. But maybe there is sort of this emotional connection of I tapped into the dream that they had, so it sort of negates some of the stress
Okay, yeah. Let's say this.
with spending the momentum.
At the last moment, as you were breaking away, as the trauma of the psychological effects of this event flooding into you all at once, you feel, it doesn't happen physically, but you feel the creature, the being inside, awakens and is aware of your presence, and you feel it reach out to you. It does not feel hostile. It feels help. As you find yourself laying on the ground. Doctor, you're going to need to make a control medicine check here.
Does not hit the ground. I was
Nope.
like, I
Yep.
was holding.
Yep.
I was holding. We will gently
Yeah.
kneel down.
Because that'll do the damage.
That'll yeah.
Okay, so that's a 5 and a 1. Target number is 15.
Okay,
Nice.
so the difficulty of the roll was 3. So
Nice.
Nice. Good
Okay,
job.
so
So I'll tell you the target numbers moving forward from now on, but it's fine because you got the roll. So
that was my bad.
so 3, no, that's okay. 3 successes. So you hit the target number. You find yourself saying this out loud, Oba, as you awaken and realize the words at first, as they're coming out of your mouth, they don't make sense. The rest of you are hearing him say it over and over. Glasna,
Glasna.
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 And it occurs to you, that's the name of the people.
Glasna.
They tried this being inside the stasis that's been locked in this recursive memory, reached out to you desperately, not knowing who, or maybe thinking you were one of its own, but reached out. You can feel, you know the name of the species, you know that they were an ancient people, you know everything that I described.
The plant's saying back.
Rest, my friend.
We have to help them. But once we help ourselves,
We will. And despite your best efforts, let me assure you, today is not a good day to die.
Wallace turns and looks at you, Cardin, and says, do you think you can tap into the power system and get the buffers up and going so we can transport out of here? We can get a proper team down to here to help us awaken these people.
Given that the glow continues to glow,
that's right.
it suggests that there is some form of functional power or radioluminescence activated by the ionizing radiation, but that would be a much more negative outcome, so I'm hoping for the former.
Cardin, I trust you. Get it done.
Sir.
And he is going to use his command skill and assist with inspiration.
Hey.
Cardin, this is the dream come true. Alien tech, first contact, and you get to be the first one to interact with it.
How tall is this facility? We're effectively in a mountain. Kind of. A little bit, yes?
No, right now you're in the forest.
But it's at the foot of a mountain, so we're like below
The
foot of a mountain?
Yeah, the mountain is probably about a little over half a kilometer away. So you're at you're just beyond the base of the mountain.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so you are trying to make Starfleet technology compatible with the power source, or to be able to you're an American in UCK. You're trying to find you're basically trying to find a way to use this to adapt to the power systems you have to activate the transporter buffers. Conceivably, done well enough, you might be able to signal boost communications as well. Activating the transporter buffers is one thing, but if there's no one to hear you that you need to beam out.
Yes. All right. I think that's probably the best way.
I rolled an 11 for Wallace. Is that going to hit his command score? His command score is, his presence is 9. His command is 13. So yes.
Okay.
So you've got 1 success from him if you succeed.
Very well. I would like to use my value. Scientists tell you it can't be done. Engineers do it anyway.
With this crew?
Okay. So that'll definitely come into play here. So that'll give you 1 auto crit. So that is going to be 3 successes right off the top.
All right, good.
That's going to be vital. I'm going to adjust real quick, and I don't, but that's okay. I'm going to adjust and say the difficulty of this is going to be 4.
All right, that's fair enough. I would like to spend a momentum for cautious.
All right.
It would be nice not to fry all of our equipment.
Or shut down remaining life support and all of the.
Yeah, life support, what? For the pods.
Yeah, for the entire remaining. Go ahead.
It's fine.
Very true.
Why? Sam's like, why would you say that?
Oh, wow. My goodness. Okay. Y'all are in a certain sort of mood that I don't fully understand. But that would be my 4th natural 1 tonight on yet a different die.
I love this mood.
Plus a 10, plus a 15, all of which are under my number. So that alien technology focus won't even have to come into play.
There's a bit of a spark as you manage to run a line into the consoles, but you're actually able to feed some of the power. The big challenge here, Cardin, is you have to assume that whatever energy is left is going to life support. You do not want to take from that. But the facility is large enough, you have to imagine that there's got to be some kind of auxiliary power system in here that you can tap into. You also acknowledge the fact that some of these pods have not been functional for thousands of years. Right. Either they failed, or they have been shut off, or the occupants passed away, and to preserve power, the system shut down. You're not sure. But what becomes clear to you as you begin to futz with the system, as it were, and reroute some of the power, is apparently there is enough energy here to get a sense of how many of these pods are still active in the facility. So that's more data that you also managed to extract. But there's also plenty of power here to power these buffers without readily affecting the systems, because you know how to conservatively preserve that power as you channel it into the pattern buffers.
Do I see anything about the power, the means of power generation? I have this intuition that if this is still functioning, it's not on the basis of chemical generation or a nuclear generation.
Sustainable.
Is this thing running off a lightning rod from the ionizing radiation?
No, it is. What you get is that the ionization, the radiation that's been emitted from this is a result of the technology that's being used in this facility. And it's having essentially it's like pumping toxic chemicals into the atmosphere. This one is not generating enough to actually directly affect, because you have to imagine there's not too many facilities like this left, but the technology that they use, that's not what sparks your interest, though. What really makes your eyes go wide as you start generating a lot of the energy is you, through your scans of like generating and causing the energy to flow through here, you detect the unmistakable energy signature of dilithium.
Oh!
Being used in what looks like an early stage fusion styled reactor. There is the makings, the early stages of warp technology. You can see evidence of that in the way that this system is constructed. Now, dilithium really is only helpful when you're trying to build a stable warp bubble.
Right.
But it can be used also to bleed off plasmic energy that could sustain this place for thousands of years. The same way, conceivably, an antimatter reactor in a starship could function for thousands of years if proper maintenance. This one has been in
the typical containment field that we use, you would get the kind of radiation that we're seeing up in the sky.
You are seeing the results of a civilization that did not know how to properly harness the technology it had uncovered. It reminds you of so many histories across the time. You've never seen it used in such a way that it actually caused immediate harm to an entire ecosystem. So you'll have to imagine that there were probably a lot of variables that you guys don't know about that came into play. Judging from the histories of all the worlds of the Federation, everyone has a chapter where someone tried to weaponize something. Everyone has a chapter where someone tried to make profit from something, and it backfired. You can only imagine what it was. But whatever it is, you're actually able to use that to connect. And you all watch as Cardin making these discoveries, eyes lighting up. You see the faint glow blue of the pattern buffers laid out in a circle in the middle of the room just go power up. And you immediately hear, away team 1. This is the Chala. Are you reading us? We just picked you up on sensors.
Get us out of here.
Loud and clear.
Is everyone all right? This is Captain Vor talking to all of you.
At the moment, at risk of radiation poisoning, but otherwise upright.
Understood, away team 1. We'll beam you directly to sickbay. Looking forward to hearing your report.
Do we have everything we need here?
All you got to do is step inside the transporter buffers.
Doc is just gonna slap a big meaty hand on Cardi's shoulder and go, they'll sing songs about this in the Great Hall. Bloodline on beam if he returned.
And they swoon, and down they go from the radiation.
Yana gets Cardin over one shoulder, and the cases over the other, and we head into the transporter.
Oba will take one of the remaining samples that he was able to grab and get into the transporter buffer.
Wallace taps on the communicator and says, away team 1 to Chala. 5 to beam out. Immediate glow. The beam envelops all of you. And that is where we end tonight's adventure.
You did it! You ended a one-shot!
I ended a one-shot. Although I have a feeling this isn't the last time we see these kids.
I love that so much. I love that.
The Blue Crew.
The crew! Hope y'all ready to get science.
Really?
Well done.
Thank you, Eric.
Junior officers of the USS Chala. Nicely done. All right, y'all. Well, this was a fun one shot. It was nice to get back into the swing of things. Reacquaint myself with some of the die rolls here. I miss running Star Trek. This was a blast. Thank you all so much for joining us for tonight's one shot, Away Team 1. And thank you so much for throwing all of the threat and momentum at us. That worked out wonderfully. Thank you for the suggestion. And thank you, Mike, Ambassador. Thank you so much, Ambassador Kale, for helping us through this and making it so. We will catch you back next week as Eliza returns from Uck, and we will be playing. It's, you know what it is? It's Sam.
Oh.
It's Sam. Ever since Sam started calling No Man's Sky Nomansky, I have just been butchering. I have been butchering. And I turned that into No Man's Keys, and then the slaughtering of the English language is, of course, it comes from somebody who commands it so well. So
It's all right. We'll get off stream, and then you can open up a pitif of a nice Taturpiga.
Yeah. See. This is what I have to deal with. Thank you all so much for joining the Streampunks tonight for this fantastic one shot. We look forward to seeing you next Monday night. Until then, hailing frequencies closed.